Hello, howdy, welcome. Blake, do you know any other ways to give a greeting other than hello, howdy, and welcome? What else would you say is a greeting? Salutations?
That's it. Greetings and welcome.
Greetings and welcome.
Today is show. Right.
Friday, March 8th, 2000, and what are we on? 24 now. God, time just flies by. Thanks for joining us here on the New American Media, because the old American media is trash. They failed you intentionally because it's propaganda. We're here to deliver you what appears to be the actual truth, at least our interpretation of it. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Brian Engelman, and that guy is Blake Walley. Make sure you follow Blake on X. Blake, are you as prolific on X these days? I know you used to get in a lot of firestorms with people. Are you still cranking things out? I don't catch a ton of your stuff in my feed. I don't get tagged on a lot of your stuff. I don't know what you do on Twitter because you don't tag me. Are you as prolific on X?
Why do I got to tag you on everything? You got to get your list. You got to get your shit together, Brian. You make lists, so you're not just seeing what the algorithm gives you. You're
I see great shit. My list is awesome. My lists are awesome.
Okay, well, I'm not on your list apparently, so I don't know what's going on there. A list should be
I don't have any list
order. That's what I mean. Scroll. You don't have a list. You just find
my
whatever
list
the algorithm gives you.
Yes, I guess I get the organic one. Blake will have to walk me through putting some lists together. But follow Blake on X. He's at TV's Blake.
God, Brian, it's 12 years. Come on, you still don't know how Twitter works. You still
I don't like Twitter. I've only recently relearned to appreciate X after Elon came in. I never liked the platform. I never liked the compatibility. I didn't like the it was my least favorite platform. It's ranked higher now because Elon has restored a little bit of sanity there when you've got YouTube and Facebook and trash companies out there like Instagram. Yes, it's risen, but I got a little ways to go. But follow him and follow the New American Media. We're at American_media_. Thank you for joining us today on this show. We're going to talk about all sorts of things, including here's the question. Biden aced his final ? State of the Union? Do you agree or disagree that Joe Biden aced his final State of the Union? Let's discuss. All right, let's talk about it. Blake, Joe Biden's State of the Union brought America back together. Sticking together is what good waffles do, they said on The Simpsons. Do you agree or disagree that Joe Biden brought us back together?
I'm going to disagree, as it was highly partisan. But just to get back to your quick point there, yes, am I still on Twitter? Yes. Am I still calling people out? Yes. I just called Aaron Rupar a bitch and called him out because he said there's no fucks given this round of the election year, and I completely agree. But I think he's absolutely a shameless liar and a little weasel. And I look forward to roasting him all year round. So bring it on, Rupar. All right,
I love that. Now are you? I saw somebody in the pregame. I saw Rick Santorum for the first time yesterday. I think I pulled up Newsmax, and it was Eric Bolling. Man, they're putting way too much makeup on that guy. But anyway, they had Rick Santorum. I'm like, oh, they turned his last name into a different definition. Remember when they did that? Because they didn't like his stance on hetero, homo, whatever it was. And they said Santorum now means, well, look it up for yourself. I'm not going to repeat it. But I said that because Aaron Rupar, to be Rupared is to be tricked by fake news. Have you ever heard that Scott Adams turned his last name Rupar into Rupared? He's like one of the worst people to follow, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's a laughing stock. He's a joke. He's awful. And he's gone independent. He's gone into Substack, but he still talks like he's, used to be on these hack rags. I don't remember which one it was. I don't know if it was BuzzFeed or Daily Beast or one of those ones, or Think Progress, Daily Co's. I mean, they're awful. Crooks and Liars. I mean, there's some really bad ones, but I don't know which one. Or Wonket. Maybe it's Wonket. He's awful.
don't.
But he's always putting his terrible takes up there, which, it's fine. And I, you know what? I almost kind of like, he's from Minnesota, where I'm from. And I do like his sports takes. He's not a moron, but he always takes the hardcore leftist positions on everything.
Okay,
so
then I got it, Blake.
Retarded. Yeah.
Now, did you invite that one person from last show that we did? I said you had to invite one person on. I invited Dan Rather and Keith Olbermann. I'm not expecting to hear back, but maybe we should invite Aaron Rupar onto a sports show for the Unhappy Hour, and then we'll ask him some political stuff. Once we agree on some sports, let's open the can of worms. I'm just suggesting. I think every show when we bring up somebody, we should send them a direct message, tag each other, and invite them onto a show. I didn't know that, but I was watching a music review, first time music reaction. I love music reaction videos on YouTube, and it was a guy doing Soundgarden for the first time for Outshined, and it was doing "I'm looking California, but I'm feeling Minnesota," and he paused it and he had to kind of figure out what those lyrics meant and break it down. I'm like, that's a good lyric. I wonder last time Blake's thought about that song. Kenneth B in the comments says Biden couldn't ace a rectal exam. That's hilarious, sir. Thank you, Kenneth. And yes, Dreamer. Hi, Dreamer. Hi, everybody. Please leave your comments as much as possible. We try to integrate your comments into the shows. So much appreciated.
Facebook user. Yes.
Yes, Facebook user. What is your name? You're just popping up in our
I don't know. That's Restream's fault.
User. What is your name who put in Trump 2024?
Well, it should be there. It's just Facebook compatibility issue with Restream, apparently. So anyway.
That's too bad. But Blake, did as Kenneth B said, did Biden get his shit together? Did he bring us together in his highly partisan speech where he wouldn't stop yelling at us? I couldn't take the yelling. I'm like, stop yelling at me. What is this?
Well, they had to get him juiced up and bring the energy because usually he's just half asleep. So I don't know. They had Dr. Feelgood. They shoot him up with methamphetamines. And they got the right balance, and he delivered. He stumbled a few times. He kind of going a little too fast. But I mean, I don't blame him for having to do that. But yeah, it looks unusual.
You're right.
They've done that for a long time.
I noticed that, in the cartoons.
Yeah.
Good.
What's that? Yeah. No, but they've done it to JFK, or even you saw it in the Elvis movie. They're passed out. He's got to get on stage, man. We need him to deliver. And there you go. Shoot him up.
So, yeah, I know what you're saying. Where in the cartoons, where the feet get out ahead of you, and you go, they make that noise, and you could hear his sentences like the cartoony. Jim Carrey makes, he's done that joke a bunch of times, but it really is the Biden thing. The words chop on top of each other. I said that it was a WWE Biden that we got, who was probably hopped up on Hunter's stash. Dude was coked out of his mind, whatever it was, or coke, or I don't know exactly what they pumped into that bag of traitorous.
It wouldn't last long enough. Not that I would have any idea, Brian. I'm just saying.
Didn't you do a movie about
it would wear out. He'd have to take a break and then have to do a couple more lines. But there's no time. So yeah, the methamphetamines would have to.
So that would be
floating for a few hours.
What was that? Hunter Biden on the balcony at 4th of July. He kept doing bumps.
Yeah.
Right in front of the kids and Jill. And Jill's like, "What is wrong with you?" Yeah, something like that. But we got WWE Biden, and it's great that you have The Rock there saying, "Bring it on." That's hilarious.
Yep.
So let's talk about it.
Did it bring us long enough
together? What did he accomplish by doing that little weird, strange whisper thing and then yelling at us? It just, the guy was yelling all night. And I'm like, dude, I don't want this. I pointed it out. And then I looked at Trump's feed on Truth, and he pointed it out too. He's like, the guy will not stop yelling. And I'm like, yes, because he's out of his mind. He's barely. Kenneth says, that's Uncle Joe. He's moving kind of slow. Of course he is. But
it's like Olbermann yelling. Yeah.
Exactly.
Tone it down. Relax, dude. Yeah.
And look, I've had those moments. I've had those days. And when you have to go live and you do a show, we're performers, the lights are bright. And yes, of course, we've all been in that where we're a little too juiced up. I get it. But he was too juiced up. You didn't want Sleepy Joe, but man, Manic Joe was a little weirder almost. But so if it didn't bring us together, Blake, did it drive us further apart?
Yeah, I think it was kind of obvious just, watching both Kamala and Mike sitting in the background, and you saw all the standing ovations, but then Mike was just sitting there the whole time. So, yeah, it was kind of that showed that we're living in two different realities. So,
Yeah.
neither side believes the other side. It's more divided than ever. Yeah, it'd be great if we could all come together, United States, but it's the divided states now. And we're just not going to be sit there and take all the gaslighting, which is what it felt like. But it's another campaign speech. But they got Biden over the finish line, so I guess that was pretty impressive. I don't think there's no way he can make it 4 more years, but he got through the State of the Union. I was shocked.
Did you see the Trump campaign ad that it said, "Well, could Joe Biden even survive another 4 years?" Like, it was like there's an actual Trump ad that's saying, "Is this guy going to be gone? Can he survive 4 more years? How could he?" And it was Slow Joe and Falling Joe and Tripping Joe and everything else. I think some of the stuff Trump's team is tweeting out is absolutely fantastic. Just scrolling through, I guess. Did you follow Trump last night during the speech? Did you check out his feed? What did you do for the speech yesterday? Were you following it? Did you care? Are you checking out highlights?
I kind of live tweeted it, Brian. I know you didn't see any of my tweets. You never see any of my tweets because you're lists on Twitter. But why do I got to tag you on everything? Why do I have to tag? That doesn't make any sense. I think people are less likely to like or retweet stuff when there's other people tagged in it. I've got to include
100%
on my
likely.
list. You're on my list, so I have other people that I follow.
Sounds like I'm on your list for not starting a list.
I'm not going to be on your list because I'm shadow banned into oblivion on Twitter. I've been blocked so many times. Yes, I do talk a lot of shit. I do call out a lot of these lying propagandists, and I've paid a big price for that. So that really hurts my score. I will not show up in the algorithms unless you're actually having me on a list, probably.
So I'm just saying, if you found your top 3%, the best tweets of the night, and tagged me, I will retweet them to our 9,000 people. I promise. I'm just saying,
right.
pick the best of your best, tag me, and I will send it out through my megaphone of the New American Media to 9,000 some people. I promise. But
it's
yeah,
all good. Brian, here, let's tag it. Here we go. Behind schedule. This is we start chronologically with my tweets from last night. There's not that many. Behind schedule. That's because the State of the Union started late. So it's a challenge to strike the right balance of drugs to keep Joe afloat and awake without overdoing it. Welcome to the greatest reality show in the galaxy.
Nice.
And how about, the Democrats are delusional. We're 10 minutes in. Gaslighting us with Ukraine. Demonizing J6 protesters. Third topic is now abortion already. Yeah, they were looking to score political points. Usually they save abortion till maybe 40 minutes in.
They have nothing else, Blake. They don't have anything to run on except, ladies, don't you want to keep killing your babies? It's my God, that's the biggest issue in your life? There's no people to fund Social Security because Americans aren't having kids. Yeah, because you're aborting them all. Yeah, so let's bring in 20 million unvetted illegals from parts unknown. How fucking upside down can we be as a country, Blake? Everything is upside down. They're leading with Ukraine and abortion. Holy shit, could this party be any more out of touch? I was yelling at the TV. I was yelling at the screen, obviously, because I can't take it. It was the Gaslight Olympics yesterday. The gaslighting Olympics.
There you go. No, that's a great point. It was insane. That's why people weren't, standing up. There's maybe one thing that maybe everybody in the audience could have okay, let's do a standing O. And then 2 seconds later, it was on to some other total BS.
Oh, so yeah. Oh, by the way, Kenneth B., our resident wordsmith, we love you, buddy. He says, Joe Biden's hoping for a good review on Yell.
There you go.
That's funny. Yell. Anyway, what else did you have? What else? Let's get some of your other Blake's takes.
A few more. I was just calling up one of the most predominant influencers. He drives you crazy, Brooklyn Dad. I said, imagine being a paid influencer and having to gush over Joe Biden for the duration of the State of the Union.
Ugh.
Yeah, could you imagine that, Brian?
No.
How much could they pay you to sit there and yay, clap at everything he says like it's, means anything?
Well, someone who wasn't clapping, I didn't see it on our list, but we had the Gold Star dad got arrested yesterday. That's somebody who was not clapping. And Marjorie Taylor Greene was the absolute superstar of yesterday. I'm sure we'll get to that as well. But you know what I did like? I loved not having to look at that cackling hyena. Yes, we had one cackling hyena in Kamala Harris, but we did not have Nancy Pelosi. How nice was it to not have to look at that bag of bones? That I was so appreciative of her absence every time I glanced up there. And by the way, I was half hoping that you're going to superimpose our heads over Kamala Harris and Mike Johnson. But regardless, I love our thumbnail pick that you always do. Please check those out.
Okay.
Mike's the master of those. But I loved not seeing Nancy Pelosi there, right? That was a huge win. And Mike Johnson was very stoic, very little reaction regardless. Were you pleased with his non-performance or his good performance by keeping his poker face?
No, I think he did great. Yeah, under the circumstance. Yeah, not like, John Boehner or something like that, where I got to look at him.
Boehner.
So, yes, that was, I guess, about as good as it can get. And he didn't give in and do any of the standing ovations with all the BS. So that was good. There's another quick tweet. Does anyone truly believe Joe could make it through another 4 years? How long can this dystopian puppet show continue? And then I'll just say finally...
But before you get to finally, that was Kenneth B saying,
Yep.
Joe could not survive 4 beers, let alone 4 years. That's a great segue. Well done.
Right. Well, no, if you shoot him up with enough methamphetamines, man, he will go and go. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. So that's why I'll leave it off with the final tweet here. The real hero tonight is whoever Joe's doctor is. Those designer methamphetamines work miracles. So,
and they've said the same thing about Trump, by the way, whether it's Adderall or this or that or this or that. Like you said, it's Elvis, it's Biden. I used to be on Ritalin. I mean, a lot of people take a lot of different things, but
there's no shame in it. It's an open secret. It's kind of like, everybody knew. That's what was interesting about it, is that nobody disputed it. Nobody was like, oh, come on, that was natural. He's just like that. Or he just had a couple cups of coffee. No, they all knew it was either Adderall or meth or something else, which is fine. But sometimes your leader needs to be able to do that. They have to stay alert for some of those types of events. And we've seen other leaders kind of, have reactions too. I don't know if you've seen those old videos of, I can't say his name, Adolf, when he's like twitching out at the Olympics because he's like on so much like meth for like been up for like 3 or 4 days. And he has to show up and he's just like raging, like, holy, Or if you saw that with that Jacinda lady from New Zealand, remember she was like, you saw like how she changed over the years because of the drugs or what have you. Some of those people, or Zelensky even, like he's,
Zelensky for damn sure.
But they've got to stay alert and they've got to, be the leader. Even at times they don't get a lot of sleep or what have you. So that's just how things work in the real world.
All right. Well, let's continue. Yeah. I mean, these two are not in the stack, but I did want to get your thoughts. Let's just go to it. The Gold Star dad started yelling at Biden. I don't know if you had a clip. I probably tweeted.
I did, but you know what? I watched it. I had no idea what happened. Like I couldn't understand what they were saying.
I figured it out after the fact. People started while it was happening. I'm like, oh, I go, that's not a member of Congress, is it? But yeah, it was the father of one of the deceased, 13 servicemen who Biden sacrificed by arming idiots over there in Afghanistan. 13 of our own were butchered because of Biden's. It wasn't a mistake. It's exactly what he wanted to do, to arm the moderate rebels or whatever it was, to bail out of Afghanistan after we built the Air Force base, after we built the military base, after we got a presence there, to just kind of have a staging grounds for things in the Middle East. They just piss off and leave. They don't take any of the equipment, because you set a perimeter, then you take the equipment, and then the final shot out of there, if you're taking off, is all of your people. They just blew it all up. And of course, this guy who was screaming, the Gold Star father, they put him in handcuffs because he was shouting. Oh, how dare you yell to the guy that killed your son? I mean, that guy's got every right to yell at that buffoon, Biden.
Yeah, absolutely. So he, made his presence felt, and he was, given a misdemeanor. He was walked out in handcuffs. Here it is. There he is. He was invited.
That's, by the way, given a misdemeanor, that's even more than Alvin Bragg will do when you attack cops and you're an illegal alien in the country, an illegal invader. That's more than Alvin Bragg's DA in New York will do when you attack cops in the streets after breaking into the country illegally. But this guy gets a misdemeanor. But yeah, let the other guys out. You know, free on bail. No bail. Just free. Go ahead. Go do it again. That's what they did in Los Angeles. One of the biggest reasons I left.
Yeah. No, so here we go. We'll roll this quick clip.
Can you full screen this? I can't hear. I do not have volume.
You do not have volume?
Zero volume. Can the other listeners, Kenneth and Dreamer, can you guys hear? And by the way, anyone else in the comments, I see you're watching. How did this moment feel to you? Did you understand what was happening at the time, or were you as confused as Blake and I were? And then now that you know what it is, how do you feel about it? Please type in the comments on however you're watching. I love getting your input. But yeah, I could not hear anything on that. I don't know if you need to send me a link or want to try it again or.
Okay, I can send you the link because I do not know.
And I'd say go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear it fine on my end.
Oh, you can hear it.
All right, well, I'll keep rolling it.
Nothing. Yeah, I can't hear it. There we go. Let me pull this up. This is okay, off the Gateway Pundit. Let me share the screen. Oh, this Joe Biden guy. I'm telling you. I had such a hard time yesterday, Blake. I was so angry. I can't look at the guy. I can't listen to him. And don't whiz on my leg and tell me it's raining. Do not gaslight me. I am not an imbecile, and I will not be talked down to like that. I cannot respect or stand those types of people. Here we go. Let's pull this up. Had to double click it here. All right, let's try this again. Of course, we need a weird toe picture on the Gateway Pundit.
Antonio fungus. Yeah,
I know.
Yummy.
Seriously, find some better advertisers. Like, come on. Nobody wants to see that crap scrolling through.
I was paying for it. I had to cancel my membership. Well, you're not paying anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Yeah, I got just feet pics everywhere. Brian, you have a foot fetish? Why is it showing all? There's nothing but feet everywhere.
Actually,
fungus
I will say I will say I do have a bit of a foot fetish. I hate feet. Anything anti-feet, I am pro. I am pro anti-feet. What do I click? This one? Is this
keep going.
Because I didn't see one with
scrolling. It'll be a C-SPAN or something. Yeah. Keep going.
I saw with
keep
feet.
Going.
It's under those feet. Right? There we are. Seriously, everywhere you look, it's nothing but feet on this page. It's so gross. I hate feet. All right, let's try this on my side.
All Americans deserve the freedom to be safe. Okay. And America is safer today than when I took office. Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted against, I might add.
Amen. God bless this man for yelling this. The insanity to actually look us in the eye. I'm just going to replay that again, that beginning part from Biden. The biggest double-barreled fuck you I've ever given that we're safer today? In what fucking planet are we safer in any regard with 20 million people who have invaded this fucking country after you've sacrificed American blood in Afghanistan for no good reason? For no good reason at all. For poking the nuclear Russian bear for no apparent reason in Ukraine after overthrowing Ukraine and then pushing NATO's weapons and forcing them into action because you overthrew them with Victoria Nuland in 2014. On what front are we more safe? This fucking asshole. I'll play this one more time.
All Americans deserve the freedom to be safe.
Yeah, like Laken Riley. We'll get to that in a second.
And America is safer today than when I took office. The year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%.
Amen.
The biggest.
Did you see how big his goofy Weekend at Bernie's eyes got, like trying to scold us? No. We are
Safer today than when I took office. The year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase.
Screw this guy. God, Blake. There are
Defunding
days
the police.
I have a real
getting
hard
worse.
time.
Right.
I'm sorry, what?
No, that's right. Well, it's gaslighting. They're defunding police. There's crime increases everywhere. Shoplifting's out of control, and then you brought in, I don't know, at least 15 million illegal aliens, and somehow we're safer. I don't get where they're coming from, Brian. We're living in two different realities with these people.
Except
and they're running the show.
Their reality is Looney Tune. They are mentally disturbed people who do not acknowledge reality. So it's days like nights like last night, days like today. I really do struggle trying to bring you the news. Now, if I were teamed up with a network and I had to really be on my best behavior and not drop F-bombs, I might be able to do that. But my God, if I'm just trying to be honest with my initial reaction, I cannot hold it in. I have so much disdain for this fucking traitor. He's made everything with his fingerprints worse. Everything, everywhere. And no. We were, if you look at last year, shut up. The guy yelling about the Marines. That's when he was named Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. When they were chanting, fuck Joe Biden at the NASCAR event, and they tried to cover it up and say, oh, they're cheering for you. Let's go, Brandon. It was perfect to show how much the real American people hate the Democrats and hate Joe Biden, hate the regime that overthrew this country in 2020, loathe. I don't know why he hasn't been impeached and charged with treason, but we loathe Biden, that fucking liar, the gaslighter in chief. Can't stand this guy. And he's going to be up there.
He's the 14th greatest president of all time. Did you see the academic rankings? Right.
Thank you for talking me off the ledge, Blake. I appreciate that. That came out on President's Day. Biden was the 14th best. What was Obama, the second best or something?
7. Yeah, numbers.
Yeah, what's the difference?
They wanted to put him higher. They couldn't. Maybe internally they did.
And then, of course, they put Donald Trump, the best president of our lifetime, the only president of our lifetime to not drag us into an unnecessary foreign conflict, to send our loved ones home in fucking body bags. Oh, yeah, but he's the worst. Yeah, he's the worst for the military-industrial complex. Who's that good for besides the fucking shareholders? I don't want my neighbors and family members coming back home in body bags. Missing in action. I don't know. These tens of thousands just didn't come home from Vietnam. I don't know. Maybe they're still getting tortured. I don't know. Why were we in Vietnam? I don't know. How did we get to Vietnam? Killed Kennedy. Who killed Kennedy? CIA. I don't know. I mean, Oswald. It's like, how long has our country been steered? How long has our ship been steered by pirates? How long has our country been overthrown? I don't know. I don't know if it's 1913. I don't know if it was 18. Like, there's a couple of mile markers where you say America was sold. Maybe we never were free. It was just the illusion. We're just free range tax. It's a free range tax farm. We pretend that we're free, and they pretend that we are free, unless we step out of line. And that's just not a world worth living in. So we have to push against this stuff. Okay, thank you for allowing me the chance to vent that. On to the next venting session that wasn't in our stack. Laken Riley, Blake. I don't know if you had anything on that, but I just want to say kudos. God bless you. Thank you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You are one of the few non-worthless people in Congress. You are abrasive. You are tough. You are confrontational. You're a lot of things that rub people the wrong way, but God damn it all. We need that now more than ever. Oh, Trump, he's not presidential. Compared to what? Compared to Biden and Obama? Thank God he's not presidential like that. Well, you know, he told a joke about when you're rich, you can kind of bang anyone you want. Oh, wow, that's breaking news. I've never known that before. Wow, what an asshole for making a joke. I just, if he's not presidential, thank God for him not being presidential. And if Marjorie Taylor Greene is not quite right for Congress, then maybe Congress isn't quite right for America. What Marjorie Taylor Greene did yesterday cannot be understated and underappreciated. She gets the gold star of the day. She's the clear winner of yesterday for what she got Biden to say. I don't know if you have something you can pull up to kind of share that, but God bless you. Thank you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, she does rub me the wrong way a little bit every now and then, but damn it, it's not a popularity contest. It's about getting the right things done. And the right thing there was making him acknowledge that his actions are why that beautiful woman is no longer with us. And that beautiful woman could be your cousin. It could be your daughter. It could be your sister. It could be your loved one. It could be your neighbor. And you know what? It's going to be, because it's happening all over the place. An illegal just killed a cop. An illegal just drove 70 miles an hour drunk through an intersection and killed a woman and her daughter walking through a proper intersection. We're getting killed all across this country by people who broke into our country because Biden and Mayorkas have bragged about reversing every relevant Trump border policy that was working. God bless you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, for making him have this moment with Laken Riley. I hate that we have to say this, and I hate that she's gone. I hate any single person that's not with us today because of Biden's actions. So I'm going to take a breath.
Okay. All right. We'll get to this. Yeah. So that clip is coming up here. Yeah. Biden slurring, stumbles, and divisive campaign hate speech out of the Federalist. And they do have a bunch of the highlights here that we may have missed in case anyone did not watch it. The campaign speech of angry, methed up Biden. But here we go. This is MTG interrupting, mumbling Joe Biden and demanding he say Laken Riley's name. He said Lincoln, but whatever. Let's take a look at it. Oh, wait, Brian, you can be able to hear this. That is the problem here.
Oh, this is so weird. I can't hear this one either, Blake. How weird is this? Do you have a
It
setting?
might just be mine. So we'll let me give you this again here, unfortunately. I'm not sure. I have a new sound bar, so maybe that's messing things up here on the audio. But we'll give you that, Brian, and it's got to get that article and scroll down, and you will get it. And I could hear it on your end, so it must just be me.
Oh, okay. You could catch it. That's good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Make sure you're following the New American Media, by the way, in all of the places. We could be gone from any one of these sites that you're following us on instantaneously. So if you're only on YouTube, find us on X at American Under. Subscribe on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Rumble, the New American Media. Okay, here's the link to the federal. Who wrote this? I don't know who that is. But who are they? A division
that's one of my
of
go-tos for alternative media. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, no,
right.
they're well regarded. Yeah.
Look at that face. I feel like that face could be like a Halloween costume. I don't know. There's something funny about his face, the Mike Johnson. All right. Where am I scrolling down to? Where are we going on this one?
He's the only adult up there.
Is this... Well, I guess we could show this. CNN on the pro.
So, Jake, you're seeing behind me are dozens of ceasefire protesters standing just a block or two away.
So, by the way, these people were blocking an official proceeding. This is the same treasonous insurrection that they blamed the January 6ers for, for protesting. Were any of these people arrested and thrown into a gulag for 3 years without trial?
From the Capitol, they have down Pennsylvania, this major road, what they believe could be the motorcade for President Biden as he makes his way from White House to the Capitol.
Actually, Blake, is this the reason why Biden was late? Did they block his route? Is that what this was? I didn't even think about that. Is that why he was late?
Some people are saying that. It's possible. I would assume they have like underground tunnels or something that they could bring him. It's not like he had to come in the motorcade unless they want it for the optics. But I would think that he would have already been there. I don't know.
And it says here that some of them have been arrested several times throughout these protests, several times, and they just keep letting them out.
For the state of
Causing havoc.
the Union speech. Now, of
Oh, as
course,
long as they're not
it is
burning
unlikely
buildings
that they would
down,
actually
like
stop the motorcade.
BLM.
I'm not okay with blocking traffic. Have your protest, have it in a park, have it in public. Just do what you got to do. Don't do this shit. Don't block the roads. I have zero respect for people that do that. I just don't.
Consider this more of a symbolic protest. They wanted to block this road to, again, keep up that pressure campaign.
All right. Was Ford down there? I didn't see any reporting from Ford, but I imagine he would have been there filming it with news to share. Anyway.
He's cut a lot of those events. I'm not sure if it was that one or not.
Biden's mumbling rant. I don't think this is the one we're looking for, is it?
No, but that was right in the beginning. That's where he was, making it a divisive issue and going after his political enemies.
I do want to touch on this. This is important that when Biden threatened the Supreme Court justice.
And with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you are.
He couldn't even finish that sentence. Let's hear this one more time.
With all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you are right about.
He threatened the Supreme Court.
Right. It's not like the Supreme Court said, hey, it's going to be illegal across the entire country to have an abortion. No, that's not what happened. They just said, hey, it's not our issue. It's a state right issue. That's it. So how the fuck are they going to, threaten them like they're supposed to, keep this law on the books? We should be celebrating the fact that different states can come up with their own choices. And
what does that threat actually mean anyway, Blake? Like how are they about to find out? What does that mean?
Like I said, it would be appropriate if they said, we're going to make a law and says it's federally illegal to have an abortion in any state because we said so. That's not what it is. So they're just making a huge, issue out of nothing.
Well, they like misrepresenting things for sure, but that was a clear threat to the Supreme Court. That was a really weird moment. Okay, here's another one, but that's just him mumbling. Okay, here we go. I guess this is the moment I've been waiting for.
Brian gets very easily distracted, right? You got to put the horse blinders on him.
What? No, I'm scrolling. I'm trying to find the thing. I'm very focused.
You found it. You found it.
He feels political win. He viewed it as a political win for me.
Yeah, okay. I just want to set this up because Marjorie Taylor Greene camped out right near the walkway where former Vice President Biden walked down the aisle to get behind the lectern and deliver this monstrosity of a speech. And she was there and she handed him a button or a pin that had Laken Riley's name on it. And she said, say her name, Mr. President. Say her name. And that her shirt said, say her name, using the Breonna Taylor thing that LeBron James and all the rest of the Obama-ites were pushing the racial division, even though that was a whole cluster of a story anyway, a little convoluted. But Marjorie Taylor Greene got in his hand a Laken Riley thing, maybe a pin, and it said, she said, say her name, Mr. President. And so he starts talking here, and here's how it goes.
He feels political win. He viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner. Not really.
And by the way, that stumble, I'd be a winner, not me. Like his brain was melting down here before Marjorie Taylor Greene jumped in, but let's continue.
A winner, not really.
Now she's yelling at him to say her name, and they're booing. And so she's saying, say her name, say her name. She's decked out in Make America Great Again. I think her shirt says say her name. She's wearing a Laken Riley pin.
Killed by an illegal.
Look at Angry Joe. Look at the face mask, the latex suit over this robot Weekend at Bernie's thing. Now, Blake, when I will actually give him a little bit of a pass here. Nobody likes dunking on this idiot more than me. But I remember when this story broke. You remember the first day, and I said, who was it was in Georgia. and we pulled it up. I'm like, I kept hearing people say the name. I thought they were saying Laken Riley. Laken Riley is like that very successful college football coach. Biden has never brought this up before. Marjorie goaded her into saying her name, and he butchered her name, Blake. Do you find that to be significant that in this moment, he butchered her name twice in a row?
I think it's just par for the course. He's just not entirely with it. I think he got, close enough. But yes, he's ignored that. They've pretended like this isn't an issue. It's a very, it's politically embarrassing. And they don't want to acknowledge the crisis on the border and take any responsibility for it. So, but it was nice that MTG basically forced him.
Agreed. I like the Kenneth B comment. Winner? No. Sinner? Yes. All right. So let's watch this whole scene develop one more time, and we'll go past it this time. Allegedly, if it'll play. I pressed play, and it's thinking about playing. I don't know. Do things play anymore? Is the internet done? You see it thinking, right? It's thinking Riley, not Lincoln Riley. It's thinking Riley.
Yeah.
This is like the highlight of the night. I got to refresh. Damn it, I got to refresh. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll give you another article, and we'll see if that one plays, because I'm gonna have to send you all my stuff since my volume isn't playing for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, that's weird. One thing. It's the other, but yeah, I think this was the highlight of the night. Did you have anything else listed as the highlight of the night besides this MTG moment? As I scroll, try to find this article, looking through feet again. It's all just pictures of shoes and feet.
Right.
What is wrong with all these websites?
Wait, on the other one? I don't know which site are you on still? That's the Federalist?
You're getting weird.
Yeah, now it's women's shoes
on the Federalist, and now
what do you look at? Doesn't it go by your cookies or something? I don't know. Anyway, I sent you a couple more.
I assure you, Blake, there are
videos,
few people on this earth who dislike feet much more than me. So no, I do not have some sort of a Dave Chappelle thing for feet. If you remember the Dave Chappelle bit about the feet. All right, here we go. Back to.
Doesn't he have it? I don't get it either.
Oh, yeah. Dave Chappelle he did a whole long thing about, well, if you know, you know. I'm not going to repeat it, but let's let this play past that moment now.
Political win for me, a political loser for him. It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner, not really.
I'd be a winner, not really. And I love that MTG's looking like a soccer mom here. Say her name.
Laken Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal.
Blake, that part right there was such a win on so many levels. What did you think about him calling that person an illegal? That's not what the Democrats do anymore, and that is strictly verboten in that train wreck of a party. He called him an illegal, the monster that ruined that great woman who was in nursing school.
Right. Well, that is the correct term. Those are people that are here illegally. That's the term that's always been, illegal aliens. But I sent you just two more articles where they talk about that, including the old Wicked Witch of Washington, who is no longer in that frame anymore. Who is they had to address that because they didn't like that term being used, so they had to try to soften the language after that when they were interviewed.
Yeah, it's
so you can
Newspeak
find that out of the articles. Yeah.
It's Newspeak out of 1984. Exactly. Thank you, Dreamer. He says Brian has experienced the agony of defeat. Terrible old joke. Thank you. More feet jokes. Okay, let's continue.
Yes. By an illegal.
He says it twice. Killed by an illegal.
That's right.
That's right.
How many of thousands of people being killed by illegals?
But how many thousands of people been killed by legals? What does he say?
That's right. But how many of thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I said...
That is completely... He's trying to... I think he's trying to say, yeah, she was killed by an illegal. But how many people are killed by legals? What? That would have never happened if this guy would have been screened out of the country in the first fucking place. The whole audience is confused and embarrassed for this guy on behalf of what he's doing and not doing.
Out to you, having lost children myself.
And of course, this asshole has to make it about him. This goes out to you, having lost children myself. We weren't talking about you. Can you ever not turn something into you? He does this all the time. Always turns things into now it's about him. I loathe this man so much.
Illegal. That's right. But
That's
how many
right.
Thousands of people being killed by illegal. To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look.
And he looks up in the rafters. I don't think they were there. I think they declined the invitation.
If we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border.
Yeah, that's kind of why you should reverse all the Trump policies that were working that you reversed with Mayorkas.
Because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing.
Which is why you don't let them get by. It's your Justice Department, your Department of Homeland Security, pick your alphabet agency, whoever's handling the border. You're suing Texas saying they don't have a right to defend the border. Blake, I can't with this guy. I can't let this asshole lecture me anymore. He is so he's so full.
No, I hear you. Well, we're gonna have to move on here a little bit here, Brian. So we got about 20 minutes left.
If it's only 6 weeks, the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks.
Okay, Byron Donalds is going, what the actual? He's got his hands open going, huh? What are you even? And I like Mike Johnson. Watch his reaction here.
Knowing that they'll be able to
Subtle.
be kicked out quickly.
Nope. Shaking his head. Nope. Nobody in this room can understand what the hell's going on, Blake. Anyway, this was the highlight of the evening for me, so I needed to spend a moment on it.
No, that's great. No, it deserves the highlight for sure. So it brought that up. Very interesting. And you wonder why people aren't, doing standing ovations for that. You see the double standard there. It's wild.
All right, where do you want to jump to next?
Even though there were congressmen and including Pelosi that were, quick to, point that out that we shouldn't be calling this man an illegal. So yes, a 22-year-old nursing student at Augusta University kidnapped and killed by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. I don't care how much he paid to get into the country. He shouldn't be here. And he'd been convicted of other crimes before, should have been deported or in jail.
Yes.
And instead, keeps getting let go, and they don't care. And this soft border, because of Biden's policy, went in and killed this poor girl who should still be alive today.
Right.
So anyway, here's Congressman Chuy Garcia. So saying, as a proud immigrant, I'm extremely disappointed to hear President Biden use the word illegal, but he wasn't illegal. And so people were calling him out. Pray, Congressman, what would you like him to be referred to as? Like, he's some good guy who was trying to escape a terrible situation and build a better life. No, he's a murderer. He's a criminal. So, yes, how would you like to respectfully describe the murderer of a 22-year-old girl, sir? So, yes, that was good to see people calling that out. And we did have Nancy Pelosi also angry that the killer was described as an illegal and that he should be described as undocumented. So he's an undocumented criminal.
Unexecuted. Hopefully that mistake is cleared up real soon. God.
I would agree with that. That would be fine by me.
Blake, we're talking about illegals. I want to pivot to this one. I don't know how much longer we have you for, but out of the rest of these 4 in the stack, this is the most important to me. If you had anything else on this, please continue. If you wanted to pivot to this other topic on the screen, I'd love to switch to this.
Are you sure that you have the same thing with Catherine Herridge?
Oh, what do you have with Catherine Herridge?
No, that's what you have on the screen. That's what I see. Are you sure you have the right caption on? That was last week's.
Yeah, Blake, you got some glitches on your side. I apologize. Something's weird on your from the audio to the. It's showing on my. Let me look. Yeah, if you look at the feed on YouTube or, for example, or on Twitter, it says Democrats are planning to arm immigrants to fight against MAGA. I think this, along with restocking the blue cities that have hemorrhaged sane people who value what's a lack of violence, peacefulness, have fled these hellholes run into the ground by Democrats, on top of putting those people back into the Gen Pop so that they can count illegals to artificially boost the numbers so they can have more representation in Congress, hence putting the fingers on the scale of our justice system illegally, in my opinion. I don't know how this isn't illegal. It needs to be. The other concern is that these people are now being recruited into Los Angeles police force, other cities. They're trying to get them in the police force, and then they're trying to push legislation to get them into our military, to give them guns, to then turn them on us. Because American police would never turn the guns on their own citizens. American military would never turn their guns on their own countrymen. But what about 20 million that don't give a damn, never took an oath, don't give a shit about anything but that $10,000 check on their little credit card or whatever, the prepaid spending card, whatever you want to call it? They don't care. These are mercenaries that are being imported into the country from Hamas, from China, from Afghanistan, from God knows where. Blake, we're going to get it from all corners. And it's all... Anyway, tell me about this story you have.
Yeah, it's going to be the end of America. I guess so. Colonel McGregor was on with Tucker Carlson, and he was warning that the Democrats are planning to turn guns on U.S. citizens once the military starts recruiting these illegals. I guess they're putting them into the police force or what have you. So the Democrat proposed Courage to Serve Act would offer illegal migrants an expedited path to citizenship if they serve in the military, as it continues missing recruitment goals thanks to unpopular globalist wars and far-left ideology being pushed on soldiers. So Tucker explained the Democratic Party wants to allow an invasion of the country, not use the military to stop it, and then populate the military with people who are invading the country and, just hope for the best. So Colonel McGregor suggested the current ruling class in America appears set to burn the country down and build their brave new world on the ashes of the Republic. So none of these people are Americans. We know from having interviewed them, they have no aspiration to be Americans. They just aspire to get into the consumption machine, get the ticket of entry, the free check, the free phone, the free transportation tickets, free food, free medical care, and the political establishment telling the illegals they're bringing in that Americans who disagree with their status quo are the ones that are criminals. So, what better?
Like, who's funding this, by the way? Who is funding this? Who is pushing? Like, where is this money coming from?
A lot of it's like Catholic charities, which is kind of bizarre.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
The church. Oh, my God. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's insane. But yes, that's what they will do. They've teamed up with, illegal aliens or even the old neocons of the Bush-Cheney administration. Oh, they love Liz Cheney. Yes. And somehow MAGA patriots are the enemy that have to be destroyed. And yes, they know that they're the ones that are in this kleptocracy. They're ruining this country, and they are, afraid of more Marjorie Taylor Greens or for Trump to get back into power, because there could be a retaliation, but it's totally deserved because they started this war.
It's called justice, not retaliation.
Yeah,
it's justice. Everything
exactly.
they're doing is criminal, and they should be locked up as the traitors that they are. This is not complicated. This meets the basic definition. This isn't hyper-partisan. It's to any casual observer, given person A did action B leading to result C in a system of D. What does that mean, E? That means traitor. That means treason. That means impeachment and trials and real indictments, not the phony ones that they're doing to run Trump out of office, trying to keep him from office as well. And I saw Tucker in his remarks. He was saying they're telling you right out in the open that they're going to rig the next election. They're telling you. They don't care about the unpopularity of Biden. It doesn't matter who they're running as long as they count the votes. I mean, Tucker did a whole run on that. You can check that out on X. I think I tweeted that out at American_media_. Please follow us and follow Blake. He's at TV's Blake Walley as well. So what is this? MSNBC declaring America's
This is how they're trying to spin it.
Dictatorship.
This is one of these things that they're just making shit up, trying to make it sound like, they're the good guys. They're trying to save democracy, and they're worried about Trump getting in because he's going to be the authoritarian, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever, except they actually believe this BS. So while previewing Joe Biden's jacked up State of the Union address, an MSNBC talking head declared that if Biden doesn't win the election, the U.S. could be a dictatorship next year. They actually, I don't know where this is coming from. They keep saying this stuff, trying to warn us. And Brian, we're not going to be able to hear this clip anyway. We probably don't have a lot of time. But I don't know what they think or where they... And let me pull up another tweet where I roasted another guy, one of these pathetic hacks, flacks and lackeys, is a Daily Beast reporter, Wajahat Ali. And he says, when you're talking about what should Biden do with the State of the Union, he said, go on offense, be clear and precise about the threat of Trump and MAGA, remind Americans that they want to take away freedoms, rights, and Social Security, promise to protect them if possible. I mean, and so I called him, I said, really? I said, what freedoms and rights do Trump and MAGA want to take away from you? Like, they just make this shit up. There is no truth to that whatsoever. What did he do in 4 years? What is somehow authoritarian? They're the ones trying to lock up their political opponents. They're the ones putting all those protesters into a fucking gulag. They're the ones that wanted to, force everybody to take their experimental jabs so you could keep your job. What the fuck are they talking about? It's just, classic Americana. The Bill of Rights. They're the ones that would take away your freedom of speech. They would love to shut us down for even mentioning this shit. They would love to take everybody's guns away. They would get rid of the 10th Amendment and just have a giant federal government ruling top down. Remove your Fourth Amendment. I mean, they are the ones that are the authoritarians, and they're trying to make themselves sound like they're the good guys, and it's Trump. So it's not based in reality. Here's another guy. This is this academic. We don't have too much time to get into it. Also making this giant academic post with all this fancy language to try to make it sound that they're protecting democracy. They are failing not only to hold Trump accountable directly, but also absent any serious legal and political consequences, to tell at least the people how exceptionally dangerous Trump and those who are fueling, enabling, and supporting him are. So they got to make sure that they communicate effectively to the American public about the threat of authoritarianism caused by Trump is real. And again, I will point out to me calling out Aaron Rupar, who is saying, I don't know, Brian, did I have all those tweets up here? Saying it's a fair warning. He's going to give no fucks. The choices between democracy and authoritarianism, sanity and insanity. So I just don't know. They are completely delusional, and they're not making any sense. And they're trying to, make MAGA, Trump, are all of the crazy extremists, and again, not based in reality whatsoever. They can't give an example. Of course, I called that guy out, and he can't list, oh, here are the reasons why he's an authoritarian. So they just throw these buzzwords around enough, and then people start to believe it. But what do we do, Brian? How do we reach out to these people?
Reach out. I mean, I heard Biden in the statement say yesterday in the State of the Union, he's like, he got into the Gaza thing, and he's like, the only thing is going to be a 2-state solution. I'm like, you know what? That's the kid at recess going, or the kid running for student government president in 5th grade going, I want recess 4 hours a day. Yay. I want pizza a day every day. Yay. It's like, the other side has said, we will never negotiate with you. We will never back down. We will never reach a truce. We will never have a compromise. From the river to the sea, you're all gone. You should have never been here. Get out. We will die trying. That's the leadership of the PLO, of Hamas. The point being, there is no other side to negotiate with. There is no other counterpart who's willing to meet you in the middle. So who do we reach out to? It's about defeat and domination. There is no middle ground. There's no shades of gray in this country anymore. They will defeat and destroy good people, or we will defeat and conquer them. We will be steamrolled if we allow ourselves to get steamrolled. There is no willingness from the deep state media, from the deep state puppeteers behind the scenes, from the deep state financiers who are running this whole sham, from the people in the Democrat Party pushing this shit. They will not stop. They have to be defeated. There is no compromise here. And it's unfortunate. I wish we could find some common ground, but sadly, I don't think any exist. I don't think any common ground ever exists. So yeah, political opponents arrested. There you go. That's exactly who it was.
Who are the authoritarians? Where do they come up with this?
Exactly.
It's just like a mass hysteria.
All right. Well, look, lightning round. We have you for 0 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. How long do we have you, sir?
5 minutes.
All right. Where do you want to go first? We got Katie Britt, we got Scarborough, and we got Trump being broadcast on TV. I don't know if two of these are together or how you want to take them. But the floor's yours.
I mean, there's not much to say on this. I don't know, Brian, did you watch the rebuttal?
Yes, I did. By the way,
she's a nice lady. She's cute, but
2 quick points.
Yeah.
2 quick points. Number one, we did a live stream last night during this broadcast, and it was the biggest viewership we've ever had during a live show. And for now, for our regular weekday, the Agree to Disagree show, this is our highest viewership today. So thank you to everyone who's out there watching, because yes, we did a back-to-back yesterday, so we appreciate you finding us again today. So to Blake, who's been looking for some of that progress in our viewership, it is happening. I mean, we were 2.5 times what we are now, but we're bigger than we've ever been right now. So thank you. We had a long-ranging discussion yesterday, and it came up about a desert queen from a military guy, Sal. He said when we were in the desert in the military, he's like, you know, if there's a girl around and she's a 3 or a 4, if there's nobody else around and she's out there in the desert, she's a 6 or a 7 or an 8. And so we were joking about the desert queen, and we turned it into a swamp queen. So Blake, our question was, who are the top 10 swamp queens of DC? You know, you got the Lauren Boeberts, you got the Kayleigh McEnany, you got this lady. She's she was all right. You know, is she in the top 10?
Nancy
I don't know.
Mace?
Christy Nome. You have all sorts
Mace,
of
right?
Nancy Mace.
AOC,
Nancy
which
Pelosi
is
1,000
dumb.
years ago.
Yeah.
Who else?
All right.
But it was
AOC,
a funny
but
conversation.
she's too
AOC,
dumb.
of course. AOC. But it was an interesting conversation, and she definitely made the list of, okay, who are you? Let's hear you talk. I thought she tried a little too hard. It was a little forced, but, you know, really overcoached. But I think that's also kind of how she speaks. But I think she did a very good job. Like where I was yelling at Biden, I was actually listening to her. Of course, we went off on that swamp queen thing for a couple minutes, but other than that, what did you make of her response? I thought it was, well, what did you think?
Yeah, it's overcoached. That's a good way to say it. Yeah, she probably would have failed her audition. Yes, it was like a Hallmark movie, way too over dramatic. She's very cute, but yes, her handlers should have done a better job with that. It was like, I don't know if that's going to resonate well, but maybe she tested okay with that.
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah, she's fine. It's a tough position to be put in. Yeah.
It was just some of how she talked was a little too breathy. And it sounded like she was on the verge of tears on half of the stuff.
Yeah, trying too hard.
It was just a little much. We could polish that up. Little Marco reaching for the water, you know, trying to find the water glass. Like it's always tough to give the response, but I think she did okay. I'd give her what would you grade her on the performance?
I mean, I'll definitely give her like a B-, but I don't expect any to make any ground. I don't. It's really difficult. So I'm not ripping on her. I just think that they should have done made a better choice, perhaps,
well, maybe
not made her speak that way, because I thought it was kind of like, I don't know if that was
a little sappy. It was a little overdone. Yeah. It was like a B movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like a Hallmark movie. So
yeah, it was okay. But anyway, I wasn't yelling at the screen like I was with Biden. So that's a win, obviously. Okay. Moving on from her, unless you had anything else to add, although
Nope.
that is a question of the day. Give us your top 10 swamp queens, the most attractive males and females, swamp queens and swamp kings. Let's be open to both sides. Who are the most handsome swamp kings? We'll talk about that later because we're out of time. Joe Scarborough, Blake, what did you have on him? And then, is it irresponsible to broadcast Trump speeches on TV?
There's another one of those clips I can't play here. Yes, Scarborough ridiculed after gushing endorsement of Biden's cognitive health. But he did actually, to be fair, he did actually kind of deliver last night for that State of the Union. Drugs or not, it went about as well as it could have, I suppose. There was a lot of stumbles. I think they were trying to keep track of how many times that he slurred or stumbled, and they had up to 60 or 70. Which is fine, for him, bringing, to curve it. It could have been quite disastrous. And, I guess it is in some level. And it doesn't really give you confidence going forward that he can pull out another 4 years. But it was really ridiculous to watch Joe Scarborough gush. I don't know if you saw that rant, but
No.
They were saying he was gone full Slate TV. Brian, I did send you the article if you want to pull up this clip. But I was mentioning that after this, but Brian, after watching the clip, I tweeted this out. You'll never convince me that this man didn't kill that office intern. Does he really believe this BS, or is he blackmailed? So Brian, with that in mind, Brian, did you pull that article? Can you?
Yeah, I got a double
clip. Roll it real quick and just you tell me, if you didn't kill the intern, would you really say something like that? Would you switch part? It's almost like he did kill the intern, and the only way to get away with it was for the Democrats, the fixers, to come in and say, "Hey, if you give us dirt on the Republicans, we'll bring you into our party. We'll make you a star as a newscaster, but you have to go along with whatever we say." And of course,
I wonder that about so many celebrities that are always on the wrong side of every issue. It's just like, hey, don't forget we got you on video in Epstein's Island, pal. You owe us forever. And if you ever back out, we know where your family. You're not getting out of this. This is a lifetime deal you signed with us. Keep repeating. Is this the one you want? This video right here.
Go ahead and play that. That's going to be the last thing I got, and then I got to run.
For years now, he's cogent.
Cogent.
But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent.
Cogent.
In fact, better than he's ever been. Intellectually, analytically. But he's been around for 50 years.
Body language on Willie there.
And, I don't know if people know this or not. Biden used to be a hothead. Sometimes that Irishman would get in front of the reasoning. Sometimes he would say things he didn't want to say.
Racist.
This is, and I don't really, I don't really.
Any other group of people?
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've known him for years. The Brzezinskis have known him for 50 years. If it weren't the truth, I wouldn't say it.
Look at that hair. Did anyone tell him the truth about his hair? I don't know. He looks like Edward Norton got sucked up into a tornado or something. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, I mean, look, MSNBC's simping hard for the losers. We know that for sure. I don't know. Whatever. Scarborough. Yeah. Just any final thought on Trump speeches on TV? Was that a Scarborough add-on as well, or a different broadcaster was complaining?
It was actually MSNBC. I can send it to you, Brian, because I haven't even watched it. It was just a note. It's funny to me that Rachel Maddow, also on MSNBC, is they refuse to air the Trump speeches. They're trying to protect their audience from his lies, but she's a smart lady. She should be able to debunk those, but they can't. So they just pretend he's a liar, so we can't air it. But it's ridiculous. It's like Fox wouldn't. Oh, we can't show you that Biden speech. No, but we show the Biden speech and then we fucking laugh at it. But anyway,
Yeah,
I have got to run.
Yeah, that's the best
exactly.
thing about a civil society. That's the best thing about having a republic is the more you have out there, the more you can debate, the more iron sharpens iron.
Right.
I like more debates in general. I really do. This is the one, Rachel Maddow cutting away.
Right, but it's been a pleasure. I got to run.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Blake.
See you guys next
Here,
time.
let me mute it. Thank you very much, Blake. We'll play this and we'll kind of wrap things up. Tell people where to find you one more time.
TV's Blake Walley on Twitter X, and the archive will always be on the nextlevelnews.com. Thank you very much. See you next week. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Blake, for this special Friday show. Yeah, Blake was like, well, let's not do a Thursday show because all anybody's going to want to talk about is the speech. So let's just do it afterwards so we can react. And that was a good idea. I really enjoyed last night doing the live stream and today kind of wrapping it up after having a chance to sleep on it. So thank you so much, Blake. Why did my screen go away? Oh, there it is. It's on screen. Let's hear. This is your propagandist, Rachel Maddow, cutting away from Trump's speech, his victory speech.
And we have no choice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's...
And we have no choice.
Yeah, okay. You know, it is... okay. I will say...
It is. Okay. Rachel, you're so coy. You're so coy. And Dreamer says, I give zero flunks about what Scarborough thinks and says. Agreed. Yeah, the Google AI bots. I can't stop myself from swearing occasionally. It's expressive. And I know you like typing it too. It's just the AI bots pick it up and then it deranks our stuff. And what was his point? He said he feels a little concerned that good folks are angry by some people using legitimate terminology to describe a situation. Dreamer, I agree with you 1,000%. I do try to limit my sailor talk, but man, there are times when it is necessary. I just wanted to point that out as we're talking about this propagandist here.
It is... okay. I will say that it is a decision that we revisit constantly in terms of the balance between allowing somebody to knowingly lie.
Allowing somebody to knowingly lie. Do you mean like 51 intelligence officials said that the Hunter Biden laptop has all the classic earmarks of Russian disinformation? Is that what you're talking about, Rachel Maddow? Because your network, NBC, MSNBC. By the way, that's a callback to Pig Vomit in the Howard Stern movie. WNBC. Like your network that lied about the Hunter Biden laptop. Do you mean your network that lied about Russian collusion? Trump is an illegitimate president. Putin puppet. Putin put him in there. Russia colluded. Russia rigged the election. You mean about all those knowingly deceptive, fraudulent, bullshit propaganda pieces that you have spewed across your network? As I say while I spew a little bit. Thank you very much. Is that the type of stuff that you're constantly revisiting? I'm going to constantly revisit. You know, my fingertips are pressed together in a praying fashion because Lord Almighty, Lord help me. I have such a responsibility to my viewers. I have such a responsibility. I don't know why I'm talking like that for Rachel Maddow, but I assume that's what she looks like when she takes her human costume off and her lizard self comes out. Oh, I have a responsibility. Now I've turned into Nixon. I'm not a crook. I don't have a responsibility. Let's listen to this again. This is the most lying, intentionally deceptive network on television. Yeah, maybe CNN. They run number 1, number 2, gold medal, silver medal. Maybe they jockey for that position of worst. Nobody has lied to America more in the past 20 years than this deep state propaganda mouthpiece. Maddow personally and this network personally. The gall to gaslight us and say, oh, we constantly have to put my fingers. I'm praying for discernment. Oh, I pray for the wisdom to know what should I do here.
Constantly in terms of the balance between allowing somebody to knowingly lie on your air about things they've lied about before, and you can. So therefore, it's irresponsible to allow them to do that.
It's irresponsible to view MSNBC under any other lens than satire, comedy, ridiculousness, and traitorous activity. And she's going to gaslight you and put her fingertips together and pray for discernment. Oh, we are constantly revisiting how to best feed you bullshit. Oh, I mean the truth. Oh, when somebody else constantly says the right things because they're not lying, they're clearly lying. So we have to, we're gonna cut away from that. This panelist of angry liars up here. Good Lord. I'm hearing rumors. By the way, put your ear to the train track. I don't know. Did you guys grow up, or do you currently have train tracks near you? Would you ever put your ear to the train track, see if you could hear it coming down the bend? I did. I had family in Pennsylvania. It was awesome. We do get the pennies and walk the train tracks and all that stuff. Good times. If I could go back, that's one of the places I would go back to. I love that spot. Is the Trump train coming? But ears to the train track. I'm hearing, little birdies are telling me, that MSNBC is about to dump. Oh, I don't know the exact number. I'm hearing somewhere along the lines of 50% of their payroll. Ooh, let's see exactly. Rachel Maddow. I spelled that horribly. Maddow. Salary. Let's see what she makes. Megyn Kelly is peeved, according to Yahoo News, that Rachel Maddow reportedly makes. How much do you think she's making, by the way? Do you know? Do you have any idea how much Rachel, the gatekeeper, Maddow, with her man hands and her condescending tone, how much would you guess she's earning? This number is actually higher than I thought it was. And the amount of content that she creates is way less than I realized it was. So according to this, I guess this goes back to January 31st, 2024. Oh, before I get to that, I'll say Celebrity Net Worth is saying for many years, Rachel Maddow's annual salary was $7 million. To do that? To just lie, to gaslight you? Oh, no. Don't worry. It gets worse. Oh, it gets worse. Maybe this is that shrinkflation we're talking about. Maybe it's shrinkflation. How about this? In August 2021, she then signed a new contract with MSNBC that reportedly upped her salary to, here, let me do a drum roll. I don't know how loud this will be. I hope that's not too loud on your ears. $30 million a year. And according to Megyn Kelly, they're saying this woman, Rachel Maddow, is getting paid $30 million a year for one show a week, Kelly said. I don't know if that can be accurate, but this propagandist is making more than most of you will ever see in your lifetime. But she wants to make sure that President Trump doesn't get the ability to speak to America.
It's a balance between knowing that that's irresponsible to broadcast.
From the ones who told us all of the lies from the coronavirus and the repercussions. All those lies. Remember those? What was irresponsible about demonizing horse paste? Remember that? Remember when you did that? And you pushed to get doctors scared to do that? And you pushed for policies that would help out your sponsors so that only one form of therapeutic options were available, and that was your jab? Remember when you did that? Do you have any idea how many lives you cost by doing that? Any idea how many lives you've cost by pushing this Ukrainian war? Who else is pushing for this? It's not our fight. Maybe it's Biden's because him and Victoria Nuland overthrew Ukraine in 2014. It's not our fight. How many people have you sent, Rachel Maddow, into the meat grinder? Because of your propaganda. You know, you got the NSA, you got CIA, you got the deep state, whoever, alphabet agencies. They're writing your script. They're telling you what to say, and you're just lapping it up. slurping it up like the good little girl. Yo, good girl, Rachel. Good girl, Rachel Maddow. This woman has no soul. She has no discernment. She has no trust, no trustworthiness. She has no reliability. She is not an expert. She does not care about you. She thinks you're an idiot. She treats you like an idiot. And it's fine. She doesn't care. She doesn't. She will sell this nation at $30 million a year. You know, and look, I mean, that's a tough thing. Could any of you really turn down $30 million a year? Look, on a callback to a topic we talked about a few minutes ago, would I have conversations every single day about feet? I don't like feet. Who likes feet? I don't like feet. Some people do. I just don't. I'm not a fan. I had a kid, Joe. I played football with him back, what was it? 8th grade. I remember, it's funny. Sometimes there's like monumental things that you just can't quite place. And it's like, well, who was I there with? I took a trip. I went to Vegas. I was with him, or was that the other? Was that when I was in? And it's like, I don't know, moments become a little blurry. But then I can remember sitting in 8th grade English class next to my buddy Joe. And he just said something funny. He was talking about feet. And he's like, feet are so weird. He's like, no matter how much you wash your feet, they still smell like feet. He just said something silly as an 8th grade kid, but like, that's always stuck with me. I'm not saying it's warped me. I've never been a big fan, but point being, could I sit there and talk about feet? Like Megyn Kelly said, one show a week for 30 million? Fine. I could do that for 8 hours a day for 30 million a year. I'd do that for 1 year, and then you might never hear from me again. Buy something in cash. I just, off the grid. That's it. I'm going off the grid. Like the Little Caesars commercial. I get it. And it would be hard for you to pass up $30 million a year to spew propaganda. Maybe it gets easier to sell your soul once you've done it. If you give a little, then, you're already done. You can't become a little bit pregnant. You're in or you're out. It's there or it's not. And once you've sold a little bit of yourself, it's easy to sell the rest of yourself. And that's what the swamp is. Would Rachel Maddow make a list of the top 10 swamp queens? Is she one of the top 10 most attractive people in DC that you've seen in the past 50 years? I don't know about that. But I think her opinions are beautiful.
And also knowing that as the soon-to-be de facto nominee of the Republican Party, this is not only the man who is likely to be the Republican candidate for president, but this is the way he's running.
Well, here's how we'll balance it.
Yeah.
This is the way he's running? You mean like by dominating and Oh, by the way, breaking news. I did want to bring this up. It wasn't in the show stack. Oh, geez. Did I go? Let me find it real quick. This is something I did want to tell you because there's new sheriff in town here. Where's she at? Who took over the GOP right now? Wasn't it Trump? His daughter? And who is this? This is Eric Trump's. Sorry, let's see. GOP. What am I typing? GOP co-chair. That'll get me the story I'm trying to find. I just want to say it properly. I don't want to frame this the wrong way. Laura Trump is now the co-chair of the RNC. After a lifetime of donating to every GOP nominee and multiple down ballot candidates every cycle, I'm out. Okay. Whoever that guy is. But yeah, so Michael Walley is the RNC chair and Laura Trump is the co-chair. Okay, so she's co-chair. They didn't give her the title. She's, like a vice president. But there's new leadership in town. That old GOP, Mitch McConnell, he's out in November. God, get him out of there immediately. Don't let him sabotage this election. Get him out. Get Mitch McConnell out. And I'm saying that here in Kentucky. Get him out ASAP. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. There will be no going away parties. No severance. Whatever it's, get him, escort him out of the building. I'm sorry, your services are no longer needed. We appreciate your time here. Thank you so much. That's it. He's gone. Liz Cheney got dominated. What was she at in Wyoming? Blown out. Roll out. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Blown out. Liz Cheney ain't here no more. Blown out. She sucked bad. Tried to frame Trump. Blown out. Doot, doot, doot. Yeah, so she's gone. Mitt Romney's gone. Mitch McConnell's stepping down from his leadership position. By the way, another story, he said he's got Rand Paul from Kentucky as well. Rand Paul is getting, he said, I'm literally having thousands of people asking if I would take over GOP Senate leadership. I'll tell you what. Yes, please, Kenneth B. Ditch Mitch, he says. Dreamer says, Mike B. says that the lie is different at every level. I believe that. Oh, there's so many lies on top of lies. It's so convoluted. But it is good to know who you cannot trust. And Rachel Maddow and MSNBC, they have hemorrhaged their viewership. So I think they're going to be cutting. Ears to the train track. I think that's what's coming. Both the Trump train and MSNBC in the dumps. People have tuned out. Nobody's watching the crap anymore. Even the people that hate Trump, I think there's a large section of people who've traditionally voted Democrat. They know they're being lied to. They know that they're not receiving actual news. They know it. They have to know it. In my heart of hearts, I hope that's the case. And in my heart of hearts, I sure hope we found a way to go do the same ballot harvesting that the Democrats are doing. I don't know why Scott Pressler wasn't put in as a co-chair. He's been out there knocking on doors and getting it done. I don't know if Laura Trump has done enough. It's like I was saying yesterday during the Agree to Disagree show live stream. When we're talking about vice president, it's like, yeah, well, Kristi Noem would be an okay choice in theory. Tulsi Gabbard, I mean, former Democrat. Can you trust him? I don't know. On another token, it's like, who would you trust more than somebody that left the reservation, left the Democrat plantation? But could you ever fully trust him? Robert Kennedy, like, yeah, I mean, he's a Democrat, like, but he's not in the party. He's independent, but he's kind of wacky on some issues. What I was saying during the live stream yesterday was, for Trump's VP, who actually interviewed for the position? Nikki Haley? Hell no. Never Nikki. Never Nikki. Hell no. Ron DeSantis. I'm a little bit more forgiving now about Ronnie D, now that he's gone, but I did not like him challenging Trump. I did not like him getting in the way. Trump was railroaded in 2020, and he needs his comeback tour. I wanted Ronnie D to either go for VP or just kind of wait your turn for 2028. I did not like that. I do like more debates, iron sharpening iron. I wish there was a different scenario here, but it felt like betrayal. It felt like he sold out to the deep state. It really did. Like he had taken money from the Jeb Bush old guard of Democrats, of rhinos, of deep state traitors, colluders. You know, the Mitt Romney, John McCain, the old school two wings of the same dirty bird uniparty crap. But this is a new party now. Trump is running this party. Laura Trump is the co-chair of the RNC. And what I was saying about the people auditioning for the role of vice president, Chris Christie, deuces. Doug Burgum. I'm sorry, what? Get out of here. You know, Kristi Noem didn't really audition for the role. Vivek Ramaswamy auditioned for it. And my God, if you're talking about somebody who can advance the ideals of MAGA, who can advance the bullet points of the policies and just articulate a clear vision, Jeb Bush light, please clap. Please clap. Nothing more pathetic than that. That Jeb Bush moment was perfect. Please clap. Please go away. I mean, I think Vivek auditioned for the role. I think he's one of the most talented communicators. Do we fully trust him? I said on the show yesterday, I had a long sit down with Anomaly, hip hop artist and political commentator. Check it out on YouTube and Rumble. I did like a 3-hour sit down with him in Anaheim. God, when was that? Coming up on a year ago or something. Feels like a few months ago. But, AJ Anomaly, he sat down with Vivek, and they did what was it? I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was a 15-minute interview, and they went 7 minutes long. Maybe it was 22 minutes. Not that I have perfect memory and recall, but I believe they were aiming at 15 or 20, and they went a couple minutes long. Anomaly, he's kind of suspicious. At least he was. I don't, he may have evolved since he talked to him. I'm not entirely certain, but, with your big pharma background, how can we trust you? Well, you sold this stock. People called it a pump and dump, kind of, how can we trust you? Like, yeah, you're wealthy, but how'd you get wealthy? You sold a drug that you knew didn't work, is the claim, is the accusation at least. Now, I can't speak to all of that. That's all out there. But what is he saying now about the policies, and how is he communicating them? Scott Adams, one of the most famous Vivek supporters, still supports him for president. I know he's a Trump guy, but also he's a Vivek guy. I think Scott also calls himself a registered Democrat so that he can always say, I'm a Democrat. I identify as a Democrat. Just so he can avoid getting attacked by the mobs of crazy people. Scott's a funny guy too, but who can you trust? Can you really trust him? Can you trust Tulsi Gabbard? My brother, I respected his opinion a lot. He never really got into Trump kind of the way some other people did. He was always a little not quite in, but he loved Tulsi Gabbard. Loved her. But she's got a questionable history there. Who could you select to carry on the Trump legacy? And it's not about the Trump legacy. Enough about that. Slapping your name on a tower, slapping your name on some shoes, slapping your name on some vodka, slapping your name on some steaks. That's marketing. That's branding. I mean, it's kind of brilliant, actually. And yeah, you fail a lot and you win a few times. And you win a few times, that makes up for your failures. And that's the same in the pharmaceutical business as it is in marketing and merchandising. I get it, all that stuff. But the party is gone. The party of the Bushes is over. The McCain's daughter, why can't I remember her first? Not Cindy McCain, Meghan McCain. Got a picture with her at the 2016 RNC, by the way. Is she in the top 10 list of swamp queens? But I think Meghan McCain, she put out, said this is the worst Super Tuesday ever. And then she deleted her post. Of course, things are forever once you post them. She hated Trump, hates Trump actively. It's all that Trump change. That's just Trump change. Trump change. Yeah, MAGA has made a full Trump change. Oh, here, let me take this off the screen. I didn't realize I was still staring at this. Here, what does she have to say? Let me finish her up.
Why don't we fact check the hell out of him?
Yes, and we do that after the fact, and that is the best remedy that we've got. It does not fix the fact that we broadcast it.
But it's
honestly.
Stunning that he said.
That's hilarious. It does not fix the fact that you are who you are, and your network is terrible. But Trump has totally remade this party, folks. That's what I'm getting at. The Meghan McCains, the John McCains, and Trump said something that was a little inarticulate, a little uncouth. Now, I don't know your feelings on John McCain, but there are some people that say that man was a hero. That man could have left. He was captured, but he stayed behind. He was a bargaining chip because his dad was a commander, admiral. What was it? He was a high-ranking official in, was it the Navy? Sorry, that's a little blurry, but his dad was a high-ranking military member, and he was captured. And he could have left, but he chose to stay. There's other people that loathe John McCain and call him a traitor to this day. Can't spit on his name. I don't know. I don't know where I stand. I don't know exactly how that played out. But when Trump said, I prefer when my war heroes aren't captured, I understand why some people pounced on that. I understand why some people said, that's some bullshit stuff to say, Trump. First, you're grabbing them by the pussy. That's like kind of rapey. You can't just... He was making an inarticulate joke that when you're rich, they're throwing themselves at you, because they do. Ask any NBA player. Tristan Thompson on the Cavaliers as well. Sean Kemp, formerly of the Cavaliers. God, what's he have, 20 kids? Anybody with power and money, people throw themselves at you. So, I mean, he made a joke, and he was kind of making a smart-ass, like, in-your-face, screw-you joke to McCain, but it's kind of like you're going after a captured war hero? That's not a good look, dude. It's like, I get that Trump has put his own foot in his own mouth. We're back to talking about feet again. Doggone it. Thank you, universe. That's a synchronicity I could have done without. But Trump does that often. He says things that come back to bite him. He says things that are taken out of context. He says things that sound one way, but if you don't know, it's like, what do you say, drinking? Remember the drinking bleach hoax? He never said that. He said about consuming disinfectants or something like that. What was that exact thing? Hang on. Now I got to find the exact quote. Trump, bleach, hoax. Where is it at? Biden distorts Trump's words on his virus. Let me see if I can quickly find this. The virus hoax. Jeez, is it right here? Come on, where's bleach? It's not even in the article. But he said something about it. And there were treatments in the news because everything was being used to try to figure out how do we stop this Wuhan disease that's been unleashed on us by Xi and all these people over there in those bio labs. Are those bio labs that were funded with American dollars? Because I think Obama stopped it and then Fauci just off-sourced it. Kind of like, remember when we were doing rendition? Oh, no, we don't torture people in America. Yeah, we're just going to have some dark sites in Northern Africa, and we're going to pay people to do it for us. It's kind of like the FISA spying, when you have the 5 eyes, and then we're going to plant a story that you can report back to us that will give us what we need to then spy on Trump's campaign. This trying to distance yourself from the bullshit you're doing by putting 1 degree of separation in between it and say, wasn't me. I even framed him in the shower. It wasn't me. I even said it was Russia. It wasn't me. He's nothing but a Putin puppet. It wasn't me. Everything they've done is like 1 degree of separation where I go, nope, it wasn't Perkins. It wasn't Hillary Clinton. Nope, wasn't the DNC. Nope, it wasn't even Perkins Coie. No. It was this report. Yes. There's a report. There's a dossier, a Steele dossier, as it were. Trump got peed upon. And now Putin has it, and he's blackmailing him. That's what it was. So they lie, then they use the lie. It's the same thing the media does. They say, well, a high-ranking senior official in the White House, a senior high-ranking official, I guess that's a little redundant, a high-ranking official in the military reported to the New York Post, the Compost, or the Washington Post, whatever, has reported that Trump called military members losers. And then they take the lie that they planted, then they put it in one of their fake news newspapers or on their fake news Rachel Maddow propagandist bullshit news, air quote, news stations. And then they report on the fake story as if the fake story is true because it's in their okay. Then they report on the fake story in the fake newspaper claiming it's true because that's the real newspaper. That the news doesn't lie. No, the New York Times said that. The Washington Post said that. I didn't say that. Yeah, you did. You fed him the bullshit. You fed him the lie and you framed him. And it's all coming back around to bite these people. They will not be allowed to walk on the streets when this is all said and done. The people who are, whether it's Marjorie, whether it's Marjorie, I don't say that word very often, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or the Gold Star father that was yelling at Biden, Americans are yelling at Biden. People across the world that don't want to see war in Hong Kong and Taiwan with China, don't want to see war in Gaza. They don't want to see the disastrous war and aftermath in Afghanistan, that don't want to see us getting into a nuclear war with Russia and Ukraine. Humanity is yelling at Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. And Trump has now selected, I mean, he's basically run the table. What is it, Vermont and D.C.? You want to talk about swamp queens? D.C.? Are there Republicans in D.C.? Here's a question. And by the way, if you're joining us late, thank you for finding us, the Agree to Disagree show here on the New American Media. Please follow us on all the platforms. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, please. Leave some comments. It helps the algorithm. Leave some comments now so I can try to read them in. Kenneth, trying not to pee in the shower. Gotta pee. Thanks for that, Kenneth. But we were having a conversation about swamp queens. Like, who are the 10 most attractive people in, let's say, the last 50 years? Call it 100 years. Like, did Jackie Kennedy, did she make the list? Top 10 most attractive females and males in the political sphere. I guess I can go into media as well. Would never Nikki Haley make the list of top 10 swamp queens? I'm not seeing it. Bird brain. Trump and his insults. But Nikki Haley, she got DC and she got Vermont. Those aren't places. Those aren't Republican places. And by the way, knowing how unfair it would be to actually try a Republican in DC, like it's obvious, immediate grounds for a change of venue. There's nobody left of Karl Marx that's going to get a fair shake in DC. And that's obvious to anyone that wants to hear it. But Trump has run the table pretty clearly, pretty concisely, pretty obviously. And he's on track to really reform the entire Republican Party. Ran out Romney, ran out McCain, ran out Cheney, ran out the Bushes, ran out Christie, pushed DeSantis back. I don't know, smack him around a little bit. Like, bro, are you a good guy or are you a deep state guy? Because it really is that clear. Are you a good guy or a deep state guy? Because the deep state doesn't give a shit about you. They don't like you. They don't like your freedoms. Remember, that was the thing that they said? 9/11, they hate us because we have freedom. There's a little bit more to that story, pal. You're either a good person or you're a deep state hack. You're a traitorous, venomous snake. And Trump has now changed the GOP leadership. Ronna Romney Rousey, what's her name? Ronna McDaniel? Ronda Rousey? Ronna Romney McDaniel is gone. That is a huge win. And, and it feels like Vivek, who's one of the thought leaders, was the one that really kind of put that out there and got the wheels in motion, saying, how are the Republicans losing? There was supposed to be a red wave in 2020. There was supposed to be a red wave in 2022. What are we doing? Vivek says. I call on Ronna McDaniel to step down immediately. Vivek spoke that into existence. He tossed a pebble at the top of a mountain, causing an avalanche. Because he's a thought leader. And that's something that Scott Adams has talked about, for example, because he does support him for president, but, it's a little tongue-in-cheek. But he laments, Scott does, that he grows tired. He grows very weary of having to constantly defend Donald Trump. It gets tough. I prefer when my war heroes aren't captured. It's like, yeah, I know what you were doing there, but that didn't come out right. And the disinfectant claim. When they were trying to stop COVID, there were stories in the news about swallowing something with a light source because, they say sunlight is the best disinfectant. Well, light, cockroaches don't like the sunlight, and diseases and bad bacteria, they don't like ultraviolet light. Remember during COVID, like they're like those scanners, and you like to use it on your phone, and it kills germs and what have you. That's what Trump was talking about. But they tried to frame it like, oh yeah, Trump said drink bleach. He never used the word bleach. He said disinfectant, sunlight, the light, the best. He said something that was a little inarticulate. And then when he was asked about it, he said, I was joking. He wasn't. It gets tough having to defend Donald Trump every single day. Because for all of his wins, he puts out a lot of very expensive things that you got to kind of cringe and go, why'd you go and say, damn it, Trump, why'd you do that? Vivek, on the other hand, have you ever heard him say something jacked up? Something way too aggressively offensive? He communicates. He's a great communicator. And that's what the GOP needs right now. And honestly, I've said this for a long time. The best thing that the GOP and President Trump can do is to find a way. Kenneth B. says, Engelman, press secretary, 2025. I'm listening. Would I have to dial back the casual cussing? Or if you earn it, you're going to get it. I don't know. How long would I survive? What would the over-under be on Engelman press secretary? How long before I wore out my welcome? How long before I became a dangerous distraction? An unfortunate, uncouth, uncivilized heathen perpetrating the pervasive. I'm looking for alliterations here. I don't know what else to say. Puns of Donald Trump. Plethora of. Anyway. What is the over? How long could I last as press secretary? What is the pay? Let me look that up. How much does press secretary pay? I'm curious. How much does White House press secretary make? That auto-populated. Says Sean Spicer made $179,000. Karine Jean-Pierre makes $180,000. So that's what? 120 would be 10,000 a month. So it's like 15 grand a month. 180 grand. I mean, I could pay bills on that. Could I be on my best behavior? Yeah, maybe. I thought Milo Yiannopoulos would have been an interesting choice. He's an interesting communicator. But yeah, when he floats out on the fringe, it's like, I don't know. I thought Alex Jones would be a hilarious White House press secretary. He could never stay focused on the topic without ranting about the New World Order, the Federal Reserve, it's Bohemian Grove. By the way, look up that story about the fighter in Bohemian Grove. There's more to that. But I would love to see somebody like a Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm not saying as president. Maybe vice president. Maybe vice president. Maybe. I'm not instantly against that. Who would you like to see as vice president? Type it in the thing. Let's see. Dreamer says HR lingo. Yeah, I guess the lingo for Brian Engelman for my elementary school days, because I was a gifted student. I was like off the charts in like the IQ part. And I was in the LEAP classes, Learning Enrichment Accelerated Program. But I was also constantly in the principal's office because I was a class clown. I was bored. I was just trying to crack jokes and get laughs out of people. Maybe I always have been that way. I've always appreciated when I get the chance to laugh, and I like to give that to others. I don't know. I remember when my mother was dying a few years ago. I mean, right at the beginning of COVID. You know, and she was having breathing difficulties in the hospital, and I was there with her. And, you know, I went to the Polish part of town to get some pierogies and get some, just some stuffed cabbage. I just got some good ethnic food stuff my grandmother made in the house and stuff that she might have, it's got hospital food. I don't know. Get some good smell. She wasn't hungry at that point, but, just to smell the food in the room. And so her husband could eat some good food. And I tried to lift her spirits that way. I tried to be there for her by traveling 6 hours to come up and spend time with her and be with her. But, she was on her, having breathing difficulties. And I tried to make her laugh. I tried cracking jokes, and I got some chuckles out of her. I got some laughs. It's like, I don't know. Is laughter the best medicine? No, because she unfortunately passed away. But if you can lighten the mood a little bit, that's usually a good thing. And that's something I strive for. When I say my prayers, do you guys say your prayers? Do you pray? Do you meditate? Like, how do you pray? And if you pray, how do you pray? Is there like a regular prayer that you pray? So I kind of say health, wealth, wisdom, and love. There's other things that I immediately put in after that. And one of those things is laughter. So I figure like if there's a lot of laughter in my life, things have got to be going good. It's not a lot of laughter when life sucks. But yeah, when I was in school, it wasn't Brian does not play well with others per se. What were the ones on my elementary school report card disruptive, argumentative. I never absorbed propaganda from teachers. Back when teachers were normal, God, if I had a purple-haired, pierced, angry lady trying to tell me to hate everything about myself and my culture and who I am and where I came from and hate this country and aren't I confused about my gender now? And hey, well, let me tell you about my escapades and personal relations. It's like, I hated the indoctrination as a kid back when schools were normal with normal teachers. I could never handle it today. I always pushed. I was the why kid. Why? Well, why? And it's not like I was Rain Man just saying, why? Although I know Rain Man didn't say why over and over, but yeah, I was disruptive in class because I was cracking jokes. I liked wanting to be the class clown, but Dreamer Ultra here in the chat, he said, in HR lingo, referring to me as the White House press secretary, Brian is not manageable. That is pretty funny. Would I last longer than that guy that Trump hired? Scaramucci? Anthony Scaramucci? What was that guy's name? Scaramucci? What did he last? A week? Kenneth B says I'd last for 14 hours. Oh, no. Are you saying I would make $14 an hour? I don't know which one it is. Grateful and pray. Yeah, but I say health, wealth, wisdom, and love, and I've always tried to get jokes going on. But back to Vivek, it's just, it would be nice to have more people out there pushing the agenda of MAGA minus the baggage of Trump. Okay, so what I want to see is I want Trump. Number one, I wrote down during the live stream, had this idea that it would have been really neat to be sitting in a room with Trump, kind of like how everybody was in the Agree to Disagree show yesterday. And if you missed it, find it. We were watching it, reacting in real time. You'll get our honest reactions on Rumble and on YouTube, on X, find us in all those places, on Facebook, on the Agree to Disagree show group. But I had this idea. Wouldn't it be great, like how we are all sitting around talking about the State of the Union? Wouldn't it be great to do something like this with Donald Trump? How cool would it be to have an Agree to Disagree show, a TNAM night show, whatever it is, the New American Media, down at Mar-a-Lago with President Trump? So I said, maybe, but I said, here's the problem. We're never going to have a chance like this again. Hopefully. That was the title of today's show. Biden aced his final State of the Union? Question mark. Will it be his final State of the Union? Let's hope so. Let's pray so. I'll pray on that. I said, wouldn't it be great if Trump, instead of just live posting on Truth Social, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be great if we were in a room with President Trump? If I could offer to host, but it's like there's not going to be another State of the Union. Biden's done. Like they're not going to do this again. He's going to get blown out all 50 states. I still believe that. God, you got to fix this election system. You got to fix these mail-in ballots. You got to just get in-person voting on paper, watermarked, numbered ballots. Are we still not doing this? Doesn't matter who you vote for. It matters who counts the votes. Remember. But we're not going to get a chance for Trump to rebut State of the Union again because he's going to be president for 4 years. Okay. But then I had the idea. I said, well, doggone it. The New American Media is planning. And actually, we're several months out. I do have to get on the ball with this and get locked in. But we were there in 2016 when Trump accepted the nomination at the RNCC in Cleveland, Ohio. We were licensed press. We were new media. What did they call us? I got a badge hanging up somewhere. New media, alternative media, internet media. I don't know. There was some term that they used, and it's like, well, yeah, that's what media is now. But this was 8 years ago. I've been ahead of the curve. We've been doing this since 2011. I said, how about this? Now, I know the DNC in Chicago this summer, June, July. I think it's mid-August, early August, I think. I don't think the DNC is going to be like on air. I don't think like if you tune it, it's like going to be 2, 3, 4 days, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know, something like that. A Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. I don't know, whatever it is. There's got to be somebody that's going to be filming this and putting it out. You know how like RSBN, I see them all the time, Right Side Broadcasting Network, they kind of created themselves because it's just kind of like wherever Trump's going, like we're going to broadcast it. We're going to be there a few hours early and we're just going to soak it all up and we're going to give you nonstop content. It's like, well, if you're looking for that type of content, there you go. You got a place that's going to give it to you. Not a gatekeeper like that deep state traitor, Rachel Maddow, who's been lying to you about the efficacy of ivermectin, about the efficacy of the COVID jab, about Russian collusion, about P-tapes, about drinking bleach, about every damn fake story. 51 intelligence officials say that Hunter's incriminating blackmail bribery-filled laptop, degenerate laptop. Yeah, it's got all the classic earmarks of checks notes. Russian disinformation. Gatekeepers like her, that's why they've lost all their viewers. Nobody wants their crap anymore. If we want to get shoveled shit, you know, I'll go out to a farm and figure it out. I'll volunteer. You can get the pitchfork. I'll just get on all hands. I'll get on my hands and feet. I was going to say knees, but back to feet again. Why is feet the theme of this show? I'll get on my hands and knees. You can shovel that shit all over me. Just blah. Just pitchfork, shovel it on me. If I want to be treated like filth and to swallow that fecal matter, I'll go to the farm and I'll volunteer for it. I am not going to willingly watch MSNBC or Rachel Maddow, Fox for that matter, most of the time, short of Gutfeld and maybe a couple other shows. I mean, it's just, you can't trust them at all. When Chris Wallace repeated the fine people hoax in the 2020 election, I was done with Fox. Done. How dare you try to sink his ship when you're up against Biden? How dare you defend the Democrats? What are you doing, Fox? Every other network is against him. You can't be the one network that's at least honest and not going to repeat a fine people hoax about Charlottesville that never happened. That's your question to President. You're going to frame it based on Biden's entire number one point in running in that election was, you know, racial division. That's when when Trump called them fine people. That's when I decided. That never happened. He literally said the opposite, and they're gaslighting you. They think you're that stupid. You know, so who was it? Was it George Carlin that said, all right, for a thought experiment, think of the average American and think about their level of intelligence. Now realize half the country is stupider than that. That is terrifying. But that's why people have tuned out, because we know what they're doing to us. And that's why the new American media exists, because the old American media failed you, because the old American media is propaganda, because the old American media is leading you into nonstop forever wars. The old American media is lying to you and perhaps being involved with assassination of presidents. I mean, who runs Facebook? Who ran Twitter? Who runs MSNBC? Is it all the CIA? So why are all of our intelligence officials against this country succeeding, this country thriving, this country getting out of debt and crushing it, raising the purchasing power of our dollar so that maybe one person, maybe two people could form a family and one person could stay at home and raise your kid and the other could go out and work and they could make enough money to come home and provide for the whole family? Why are they all so against the obvious things that all Americans want? I guess not all Americans. Some of them watch those news shows and think they're getting news. Other people, they watch it and I don't think they think it's real news that they're getting. I know they want to hate Trump so much that they're willing to suspend reality, suspend belief, suspend common sense, because that's what they want. And since they want it to be true, it's like if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody and it's not great. There are great moments. There's almost always some great moments in shitty relationships. But I mean, if you want it to end, you're going to find every reason to complain about everything going on every single day. And you're just going to push the issue and force the issue until it separates. Whereas if you want things to work, if you really want things to work, you're going to try to look at the silver lining. You're going to try to find a way to explain things away. They were just having a bad day. Grant them some grace. Well, I'm not perfect either. I know that was out of bounds, and what they said, it was really hurtful. And it just, I lost respect for that person when they said that, but I do love them. And it's not all the time. And you try to remember the good times. There's definitely some of that going on. There's some of that going on with that viewership. I think deep down they know that they're not getting truth. Some of them are just hopelessly lost. I actually had a business meeting with one of those people. I was referred to them, and I was trying to consider starting a business partnership, and we had a meeting, and it went a couple hours. And as you can tell, I'm a bit of a talker. I enjoy conversation. I enjoy listening. I enjoy commenting. I enjoy cracking jokes and making people laugh, of course. But as we continued our conversation, this person kind of kept repeating several known fallacies, deep state propaganda, Biden bullshit. And I even tried to change the subject a couple of times. I'm like, oh, God, you are so far off the reservation, pal. And I tried to change the subject, and then that person would bring the subject back. And I just had to take stock of that and just think this. I don't think I could be in a business partnership with this person. They lack discernment, necessary discernment. And if they're gullible enough to fall for this, what else are they willing to fall for? It's like that classic moment in any courtroom drama. Well, what you just said contradicts with what you said on this report. So, Mr. Johnson, were you lying then, or are you lying now? That's a great phrase. That's a slam dunk. Either way, you're a liar. What's that other one? It's when did you stop beating your wife? That's meant to put someone in a position. It's like you can't answer it because it's like, I stopped last week. Aha, you're a wife beater. I didn't stop. Ha, wife beater. The way you frame it, there's no wiggle room out of it. So I think people are done with the lying legacy media in general. I think that bodes very well for the new American media. But back to Trump and his takeover of the GOP real quick. I want Vivek to be in Pittsburgh. I want him in Pittsburgh this weekend. Name him as your VP or your secretary or this or that. Get him into a swing state now. You're going to bring Kristi Noem in. See, and here's my thing about Ron DeSantis or Kristi Noem. You don't really want to take their chess piece off the board. They're already on the board. So, sometimes when you play chess, I don't know if it's all the time, actually. I don't know the official rule of fun chess. But a lot of times if you move your pawn to the other side and you get to the final row, you get to bring a piece back. Or that piece becomes a queen and it can go all over in depth. So it's like, you don't take a piece off the board. You want to bring pieces back onto your board. You never take a piece off. It reminds me when I went to school with a person in 7th grade. Her name was Tara Peaceoff. Tara Peaceoff. Stupid joke. But I would love to see Trump put his MAGA team into place. Think how many secretaries, how many positions are you going to have? Get your 20 people and say, this is the face of MAGA. This is the voice of MAGA. This is the agenda of MAGA, because we will make America great again. I think the best advice that I could give to President Trump would be less Trump, more of your surrogates. Less you in your rhetoric, which, by the way, is a stand-up. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a shit-talking stand-up comedian from New York. He busts balls all day. Like, he's funny. He's legitimately funny as a comedian. The quicker you understand that, the quicker you'll understand Trump. But I want him to name his. What are you waiting for? There's no real strategic advantage, rather, to holding off on announcing who your team is. Let them go play ball. Put one of them into Georgia. Get somebody in Macon immediately. What are the other swing states? The ones that all paused and magically flipped their votes? Get them up there. Well, get them up there in Ohio. I know Ohio didn't pause, but get them in East Palestine. I know Trump did go there, but get the next person there. Get someone up in Flint, Michigan, and say, for all the money that's been laundered over into Ukraine by Biden and these dirty Democrats and these traitorous rhino Republicans, we could have had your whole water situation fixed and your infrastructure and helped you rebuild your whole lives after this train wreck of your poison water. Get somebody up in Madison, Wisconsin. Get these people into the swing states. Get them in Minnesota. Get them in Arizona. Get them out there pushing the message of MAGA. Kenneth says Donald Trump is the Don Rickles of presidents. That's kind of funny. Dreamer says, that's how we do it, Brian. Got to sacrifice, though. Not for everybody. Yeah, not everybody's willing to swallow the harsh reality of what things really are. It's easier to live in a dream world with your fake platitudes and your fake conspiracy theories. By the way, anyone that uses the term conspiracy theory, they're usually a deep state hack. You can usually use that as a keyword, put your ear up and go, oh, this is a person that's about to feed me some bullshit. There's a couple keywords you can look for, and you can almost instantly identify when people are lying to you. But yeah, I would love to see Trump name his cabinet and get them out there to the swing states immediately. I would also like to host an event and agree to disagree fireside chat with Donald Trump during, here we go, long circuitous route back to the story. I know I worked 3 others in there, but it's kind of how I'm wired. It's, it's a blessing and a burden up here. My idea was during the DNCC in Chicago in early or mid-August, I believe, there's got to be the equivalent to a right side broadcasting network that would be at the main stage and that would be recording and broadcasting all the keynote speakers. I was telling some of the stories about how I brought Larry Elder with me into the main room. We were watching Sheriff Richard Clark from, where's he from? Milwaukee, with his cowboy hat, I believe. I think we were live streaming it, and it was me sitting next to Larry. The guy behind me, my buddy Nick, who I played football with. I guess today's episode is about guys who I played football with. Oh my God, the word foot again. Why is the word foot the theme of this entire show? This is stupid funny. And on top of it, he's the one guy on a football field who actually uses his foot. He was the kicker. He kicked the extra point. We won a playoff game 7-6 in a blizzard, and he kicked the game winner. He was behind me. Larry Elder was next to me, and I was doing a live stream. So we were on Facebook for the New American Media, and we were just kind of Richard, Sheriff Clark, and I would love to sit down, get a proper film crew there, proper lighting, proper soundboard, mix it so it makes sense. Put Biden, put the DNCC speech on the screen, and hang out with Trump for a few days. And just let him shit talk these people. Because he was on Truth Social putting post after post after post after post. And it was intriguing. It was funny. It was interesting. It's just funny, like the stream of consciousness reading through, 50 different Trump posts on Truth Social. I was like, this would be so much better if he was in person. On camera, we're just hanging out, drinking a Diet Coke or something, or I don't know. He's not a drinker, but not smoking a cigar. He's kind of like a teetotaler, right? But man, would that be fun to do a live react with President Trump down in Mar-a-Lago or anywhere. I don't care. I'll wherever he would like to do that, we can go. If he wants to meet in Chicago, get the penthouse. I don't know. Is there a Trump Tower in Chicago? And just set up a crew and just live stream. Watching these Democrats lie their asses off. Watching them gaslight you like you're a nincompoop. Like you were a moron. And just Trump calling them out. Maybe not every day. Maybe save it for just the last day. He's a busy man. He's got a million places to go. But God, this would be must-watch television. Trump live trash talking the liars in the Democrat Party during the Democrat debates would be one of the highest rated programs in the history of programs. And I think I'm the one to do it. So I'm putting my hat in the ring. I volunteer. I would gladly go to the RNC in Milwaukee. I think it's in Milwaukee this year, right? And I would forego Chicago to do the fireside chat with Trump, with President Trump. I think that would be great. So I'm speaking that into existence, just like Vivek spoke into existence, getting rid of Ronna Romney McDaniel at the RNC, because Trump has taken over this party now. It's inevitable. Nikki Haley's dropped out. It's donezo. It's over. It's donezo. Oh, Kenneth, you live in Florida? Kenneth, one of our regular commenters, he says, Brian, come to Florida. Let's knock on his door. Come on, knock on your door. We've been waiting for you. And the MAGA is hers and his. What rhymes with all that? Anyway. All right. Oh, that's a good point, too. I'm scrolling through the comments now. That's a really good one. Your comment didn't pop up over here, but it did here, Dreamer. Where'd it go? Right here. Wait, no, there's two of these. Hold on. Okay, Dreamer. Vince is saying Trump is often early, but he's not wrong. That is such that is a very insightful way. And you're saying McCain, for example. Once again, I'm a little agnostic on McCain. I mean, I've heard smart people lay out all of the ways that McCain was guilty of this and a bum for that. And I understand it. I hear it. I don't know the difference. So, like, when I say we're here on the New American Media trying to give you the truth, I don't know what's what on that. But, you know, equal time to both opinions on it. I mean, tell me what you think. But Trump has often been early, but not wrong on a lot of key issues. I will admit, when Trump came out and made the wall, build the wall in 2015, 2016, I was just kind of like, well, yeah, in a post 9/11 world, how are you letting anybody across the border without knowing who they? What do you mean there's areas of our country you can just sneak through? I got to take my shoes off at an airport? And you're going to let criminals come in to harm Laken Riley's? Hell no. So on the surface, I was 100% on board with the concept. But part of me was like, well, why is this? Is this really that big of an issue? Well, let me ask you. Ask about Arizona. How did Katie Hobbs take over that state? Huh? How did they keep one of the best candidates I've ever seen, Kari Lake, a gifted communicator, a talented, well put together? Is Kari Lake in your top 10 swamp queens? That's a good question. We need to start that thread in the Agree to Disagree group on Facebook, by the way. Follow us. Join it. It's a private group. So you got to do quotation marks, TNAM apostrophe S. That's the New American Media, TNAM. So it's quotation marks, capital TNAM apostrophe lowercase s, space, the Agree to Disagree show, quotation marks. If you don't type that exactly, Facebook refuses to show you that we exist. If you enter and try to join, it'll say, how did you find this private group? And you can say, Brian invited me, and I'll let you in. But how did Kari Lake get bumped out of Arizona? How many illegals? What is going on that border state? What happened to California? California used to be a Nixon state. Used to be a Ronald Reagan state. And say what you will about Arnold Schwarzenegger, but at least he was a Republican and he got a couple of things right. Is California completely lost at this point? Unsalvageable? Incorrigible? It reminds me of the inconceivable. What did he call the Giants? He said, I can't even think of the line. It's when the character's talking to him and he says, when I found you, actually, I want to get that quote. When I found you, Princess Bride. What's the famous line? No. What's Vincenzi's? Not never go against the Sicilian. There we go. Oh, can I play this without triggering a... When I found you, you were so slobbering drunk you couldn't buy me. I thought there was another one where he's yelling at Andre the Giant. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, Dreamer says, sometimes Trump is too much between the lines and is misunderstood. I'm guilty of this too. I am guilty of this too. Are any of you guilty of that? I mean, it's tough. You know, we're in a 400 level economics class. You know, and we're talking about... I talk past people sometimes, and there's a lot of catching up that people have to do if they haven't been paying attention to any of the important stuff for a while. And there's a lot that's between the lines, and sometimes that does come off and makes you misunderstood. You know, that has happened to me my whole life. And you get pushback, people kind of misunderstand, and then it's weird sometimes how people can form a quick impression sometimes. It's like no matter what you do, there's that famous phrase, you never you never have a second chance to make a first impression. I've known a lot of vindictive people, a lot of bitter people that have never been able to give up. You know, something to put a bad taste in their mouth. It's like, well, yeah, that was 1 out of 100 things. Did they stab you with a machete? No. Like, come on. Why are you hung up on that one thing? People are weird. People are misunderstood. People make mistakes. President Trump is no different. Not a perfect man. Just get your team out there. Get your team out. Jane Meyer, how are you? Sorry, I missed you in the comments earlier. She got a kick out of LOL. Checks notes. Russia. But really, they are checking notes because they don't have original thoughts in their heads. Was it, did they attribute it to Abraham Lincoln that said you shouldn't, if you don't tell lies, you don't have to have a good memory to remember what... God, I'm butchering that. Lincoln, quote, lies on truth. No man has a good... Okay, is this the quote? It's on Forbes. That's a good... Okay, that's well phrased. I like that. According to Forbes, quotes, no man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. And that's been paraphrased. If you don't lie, you don't have to remember what you've lied about, because you will get caught in your web of lies, period. You know, some people say, oh, I was born in the wrong era. Oh, I wish I was born in medieval times. Oh, I wish I was born when I could have done this. Or, oh, if I could have been alive back then. It's like, the lifespan is 26 years old. No, you don't. How cool is GPS and refrigerators and air conditioning? And come on, there's so much awesomeness. about being alive today. What a great time to be alive. And the best thing we have ever had, the best thing ever, might be the internet. You know, there used to be a time when politicians like Hillary Clinton would go on her whistle-stop tour of the nation. Now, I don't know if you remember when Hillary Clinton would go into the southern states and give her press conferences, but she'd bring out that Arkansas drawl. Trying to connect with the local yokels. In fact, I keep hot sauce in my purse. It's called pandering. It's called shut the front door. All right? Get out of here. Don't come down here pretending you're one of us. I know she's from Arkansas and she went up and pretended to be a New Yorker so she'd take that Kennedy seat, didn't she? How else would she become Secretary of State to go over to Libya and say, we came, we saw, he died. Yeah. Remember that? What was Gaddafi doing for the people? What was he doing with that water project? What was he doing with gold and the dinar and getting off of the basket of currencies that was going to threaten the Federal Reserve private note that you keep printing and printing and printing and digitizing and devaluing so we can't buy a house or buy a car, buy health insurance, can't buy food, can't buy gasoline, can't buy a trip, can't buy shit because you're intentionally ruining the value of our currency. But Hillary Clinton, as much as she, a politician of her ilk, she was a generation too soon to become too late. It's so funny because it was like, the glass ceiling and a woman is president. It's like, I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're Indian. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're a dude. What did Mitch Hedberg say? He goes, some people... I think today's episode is Brian looking things up. Mitch Hedberg. There we go. What's this one? Let me see if I can... Here we go. And I'll deliver this. Oh, man, I haven't done a Mitch impression in a while. Are you hip to Mitch Hedberg? Are you a fan? All right. When it comes to racism, people say, I don't care if they're black, white, purple, or green. Oh, hold on now. Purple or green? You got to draw the line somewhere. To hell with purple people. Unless they're suffocating, then help them. He goes on in that way. I think he says, I'm not even white. I'm off-white. Something about, I thought I was white until I washed my face with Noxzema or bleaching his teeth. He's like, I'm not white. I'm off-white. We're a new race and we will prevail. God, Mitch Hedberg was so funny. Purple people. But I really don't. I don't care if somebody's black, white, purple, green, man, woman, or confused. I don't really care. Live your life. Have a good time. Just like, let's not cause problems for me. That's step one. And society. That's step two. Other than that, I don't really care what people do. But it's so interesting, the dichotomy of Hillary Clinton, because the word vomit, the divisive tribal politics of it all. Oh, and you saw that with Never Nikki Haley. Ugh. It's like, oh, glass ceilings. Misogyny. It's like, all my teachers have been women. Most of the people I've worked for have been women. Women, black, or gay. It's like almost everybody I've worked for have been female or black or gay. Or black and female. Or black and gay. Or female and gay. Some combination of these. It's like I've rarely worked for a straight white dude. I had that thought a couple of years ago. I couldn't shake it. I was like, that's so interesting. From here to, whether I'm bartending or working at the world's largest talent agency, it didn't matter where I was. It's like everybody I don't care. I don't care what people are people are people. So why can't it be you and I could, people are people, so why can't, how does that go? Who sings that? Is that Duran Duran? But it's so funny because the people that constantly push this division, everything is tribal politics. I'm a woman. Everybody's against me. Like, you're just awful. No, you're awful because you're awful. You're not awful because you're a woman. You're awful because you're awful. So people like Hillary Clinton, they'd say things like, America just wasn't ready for a female president. I contend America was ready for someone like Hillary Clinton to overthrow the country in an air quote election. But the internet, once again, I was saying like the greatest creation, what a great time to be alive. The internet has allowed us to catch you not only with your awful Southern accent that you've spent a lifetime getting rid of, but when you come down to Podunk, Alabama, or wherever you are, Arkansas, I got hot sauce in my purse. Do you see Joe Biden eating chicken with a black family saying I should have brought watermelon? Was that AI created, or was that something that really happened this week or last week, whenever it was? Was that real? I scrolled through, I saw a clip. I know this AI is getting good, but that cannot be real. But then again, I said the same thing when Biden went on Charlemagne, the God. Get out of here, the God. What a punk. Biden goes on there and says, if you have, for real, if you don't know who to vote for, me or Trump, then you ain't black. And Charlemagne, the simp, had zero reaction to that. Zero retort, zero response. If someone ever came to me and said, if you don't know who to vote for, Biden or Trump, once again, we got the rematch, then you ain't white. Or if it was, go back 2 elections. If you don't know who to vote for, Obama or, who's the last one? Romney? Then you ain't white. Well, first off, Barack Obama's half white. But how insulting to have someone come in from another race and tell you that if you don't vote for the person that looks like you, then you aren't a member of that race. What a disgusting, racist piece of trash thing to say to somebody. And Charlemagne just lapped it up. Slurped that up from Joe Biden. No pushback. By the way, if you want a good conversation, go watch Vivek Ramaswamy sit down with Charlemagne and call him out on that. And the way that he does it it's spectacular. It's fantastic. I really appreciate Vivek Ramaswamy's talent stack. I really do. I'm a big fan. Because we need people that can talk to people without just, I like my war heroes when they're not captured. You're like, yeah, you just grab them by the, it's distraction. It's detour, squirrel, ADD, squirrel. It's just like he can't get out of his own way sometimes. And hence, like Dreamer says, it makes you misunderstood. And then some people, once they form a bad opinion, there's no talking sense into them. I mean, we could be literally under attack. The one that I fear is on its way between now and the election. By the way, I got to do this every show. Get water purification. You could get a water straw from Walmart for $25, a Berkey filter for $400 if you want to get something like that. Get some self-defense tools. You know what I'm talking about. Get some training, because having a guitar in your closet doesn't make you a musician any more than having a gun in your closet makes you a marksman. Practice. Get some communication, whether it's ham radio, Baofangs, the CB radios, landline, some sort of power supply, backup for your sump pump, solar generator, a backup battery to make sure your house doesn't flood. There's little things some sort of solar so that all your food doesn't go stale if the fridge shuts down, if the freezer stops. Because I really feel like we're going to get attacked in a... I don't want to put this stuff, I don't want to speak it into existence. I don't. But I do feel as though... All right. I just don't even want to say some of this stuff, but like, take this week and level up. Get some practice, get some training, get some supplies, please. Because if you got to go a couple days without food and water, what if you turn your water on and it's not working? Are you catching rainwater at your spigot? Spigot? No, at your water downspout. Off your shed, off your garage, off your house. Do you have a little concrete platform and a little rain barrel so you can catch water and then filter it and drink it in an emergency? That would be helpful. Are you growing some food? Are you spiritually fit? Are you financially fit? Physically fit? Like all of these things. Are you ready to defend this country and defend yourself and your loved ones? You know, and when people want to get hung up on President Trump for silly shit, when we're on the verge of a full attack on this country, 20 million people have invaded here. Northern Africa, Middle East. I'm looking at my map here. China. Saying tens of thousands of Chinese military-age fighting men. I said this on yesterday's show. They got reports of the elite Chinese forces that are working their way up through Mexico. They have safe houses all along the way. It's a conveyor belt. You go a couple 100 miles, you stop and you rest at this place, and you go this place, and then you stop here. They're going from, you know, I don't know. They're going from Wuhan, then they're landing in Costa Rica. They're working up through Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico, and they land in San Antonio. They got a whole system. It's like an ant trail. What purpose? For what purpose? Are you ready? And to anybody out there who's getting hung up on Trump for being inarticulate, like, this is the guy, this is the boss that this country needs. Trump didn't drag us into a damn near World War III with Russia. Nope. Happened under Biden. Trump didn't do that disastrous withdrawal, arming all of those bad guys in Afghanistan and killing 13 U.S. servicemen. He didn't do that. Trump had the most secure wall that we might have ever had in our lifetimes. Biden reversed all of it, and there are people all across the country dying at the hands of illegal alien invaders right now. You know, Trump is the person you want in that meeting. Trump is the person you want in that boardroom. Trump is the person you want negotiating on your behalf. Not a perfect person, not a perfect man. Got it. Fine. But in the grand scheme of things, God, doesn't it just feel like Dad's been missing for... went out for a pack of cigarettes and he hasn't been back for 3.5 years? And it's like, oh my God, the house is completely falling apart. It's like Kevin from Home Alone. It's like, where did Mom and Dad go? Where are the adults? Oh my God, I'm on my own. And in Home Alone, God, this is a perfect analogy. And Trump was in Home Alone, too. And while Kevin's home alone, because the adults are out of the room, they're not in Washington, you got Joe. Wait, I'm going to call him Joe Pacino. That's not Al Pacino. Joe, what's it? No, it's, what the hell's the guy's name? This is, oh my gosh. The little guy from all the gangster movies. Yeah, Joe Pesci. Doggone it. I couldn't think of Joe Pesci. Yeah, you got Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci breaking into your house, just like the illegal alien invaders and the jihadis and the Chinese national military members. They're all breaking in. Does anybody care? I think Trump cares. I think he views America as his company, his country, his company. And he'll do anything it takes to make this country win, make this country succeed. That doesn't mean to hell with everybody. Oh, the lying legacy media. They want to tell you, oh, and we I can't believe President Trump would be out there saying that European Union nation members, that if they don't pay into NATO, then he would let Putin invade them. Yeah, you know what he's doing? He's using a negotiating tactic, and he's calling you out because if you're going to be a deadbeat, yeah, that's a threat. Will he go along with it? I don't. Maybe. Because you know what? That's not fair to anybody else if you got deadbeats and mooches. We should not be on the hook for all of this shit. And Trump calls these countries out that have been freeloading for far too long. Wasn't it Trump that also said this is insane that we're giving all this money we don't have? 35 trillion in debt? Like, the ship is going down. What do you say? Every month we're adding a trillion more? This is about, I don't know if the next apocalypse is going to be some sort of calamity, some sort of internet outage, some banking collapse, what kind of black swan event? This is all completely unsustainable. And Trump's like, we're not giving out money anymore. We will give out loans, 0 interest loans if we have to, but we're going to get paid back. And if you have a sudden windfall and you discover mineral rights, that's ours. You're not just getting our free money because we don't have it. We're going to print $35 trillion to borrow from China to give it to Ukraine. Like, this is just a fucking shell game. It's insanity. And we cannot survive on this course anymore. Back to Hillary Clinton. She would have won. God, that was a long delay, but I'm coming back around circle and we'll wrap it up on this. I think she could have won a generation before. It's not that America wasn't ready for a lady. No, that's not the case. By the way, you'll never be America's first president. Because I do still have a 5% suspicion they might swap Joe Biden out for Hillary Clinton. It's a theory. I'm not completely convinced that's off the table. Because you see her slapping all the makeup on, finding a pantsuit. Good, nice enough for her Grimace-like figure. Grimace? Too soon? Shaped like a gumdrop? Oh, Hillary's another person. I have 0. Oh, if all the dirt on her and Haiti and the Anthony Weiner lapse, all this stuff, if that all came out, I pray that this stuff comes out and they get the justice they deserve in this world legally. I had no love or respect for her. But she could have won a generation before the internet. And that's why I was saying this is a great time to be alive. Because all of that pandering, all that division, all that, I'm going to pretend to be like you, I'm going to speak in my southern drawl. You probably would have got away with that shit in the 80s. In the 90s. But the new American media, we never forget. We never forget. We are legion. We are everywhere. The new American media holds you to account. When you lie to us, guess what? You're busted instantaneously. And it's everywhere. Well, they say it takes a lifetime to build a reputation, and you can burn it down in a second. You can destroy in a second the reputation it took an entire lifetime to build. I don't know whose quote that is, but you can attribute it to me if you want. It's the thing about quotes. You can kind of slightly jigger, reconfigure, Rubik's Cube them around and kind of say them slightly differently, but it gets the same point across. Joe Pesci. Yeah, I think Hillary Clinton could have won in the 80s, 90s. But the internet came in the mid-90s and, I guess maybe in the 2000s. It wasn't really there until social media. I don't think the internet was really ready for what it is now. The early stages were definitely light years forward from all the news that's fit to print. Yeah, I'm going to print some shit and I'm going to get it out to you. And the next day you'll read it. It's like, what do they say? A rumor or a lie could make it around the world 3 times before the truth has a chance to get its pants on. Well, news breaks so fast. By the time you read it, it's old news. That's why print media was doomed from the beginning. By the way, the reason why print media is important is to be prepared. Imagine your phone doesn't work. Do you have physical maps of your area? Do you have secondary locations in case you have to get out of your house? Do you have a bug out bag with your most important supplies if you got to go in a moment's notice? Your digital documents. Do you have some cash on hand? Like all of the, like, are you prepared? And having some skills in books. My God, that's going to be worth its weight in gold. You're not going to be able to pull up, how do I, medical reasons. The pharmacies are emptied out. There's no medicine. What's around me that I can use? Can I use some tree bark to make some acetaminophen and some aspirin type stuff from the willow bark? Well, if you know what you're doing, you can. Did I say that right? Is that the willow? Whatever bark it's from. Don't worry, I got a book. Oh, but you on your phone? You're going to be sweating and crying. Don't do that. There's no need to be scared when you're prepared. And if you're prepared for anything, you don't have to fret. But yeah, Hillary could have got away with this too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. Hillary. And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you, Al Gore, the inventor of the internet. We saw Al Gore sabotaged and torpedoed my campaign. Yeah. Guess I'm mixing some Howard Dean in there. We're going to go to Michigan, Wisconsin, and Alabama. Remember that? Remember when that's all it took to take a political candidate out? Was somebody getting super excited like a WWE character? We're going to go to Michigan and Wisconsin and Texas. Shocking news today. What's his name? John Dean? What's his name? Dean? What's that guy's name? Howard Dean. There we go. I knew that wasn't right. James Dean? Wasn't he an actor? Here we go. Let me play this. Do you remember this? Here, let me just click on this. It's kind of funny. But the internet doomed Hillary Clinton. All of her lies, all of her pandering, everything about her. It was so available for anyone who wanted to search. Like we just had a skin crawling feeling. You've heard the stories about the Hillary Clinton laptop. By the way, you want to prosecute Donald Trump because as president, he had documents that he declassified and kept with him and put extra locks on the door to keep it Mar-a-Lago, like every president has done before him. But you, who were never a president, had a private server in the closet of your, what was it, a condo or a house? She should have been jailed for treason. Oh, but she's Secretary of State, killing foreign leaders. So, she's above the law. Yeah, she's above the law. Make it make sense. Joe Biden, he's got private documents from when he was a senator in Delaware. Had no sense, had no reason having these documents. Let's go back to Howard Dean real quick. This one's great. 2004. WNBC. It's thinking about playing. All right, we got to get the volume. Step away from the speaker. I don't know how loud this is going to be. I'll turn it down.
Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota, New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon, Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
There it was, folks. That was remember simpler days when that was all it took to doom a presidential campaign. Remember that? That's all it took. I mean, was that really enough to torpedo a presidential campaign? Well, it was. Yeah, it's just so ironic. Yeah, oh, Hillary, America wasn't ready for a woman president. No. Like, you had your shot and you missed it. Because now we know who you are and we're never going to let you run away from your lies and your pandering. The Bushes, the Cheneys, like all these old school people that have gotten away with bloody murder for God knows how long. They can't run from their record. They can't run from who they are. They can't run from the repercussions of the shit they've done and put on their permanent record. Kenneth B. said, was it Jimmy Dean? No, that's the sausage guy. Anyway. Yeah, I will grant a little bit. I'll grant a little bit. A little bit of grace to former Vice President Biden. Calling it like I see it. When that story broke, I was calling her I was hearing people say Laken Riley, and I thought they were saying Lincoln Riley. Very successful college football coach. I'll grant him a little bit of slack for what came out was Lincoln Riley twice, because we've probably heard that and said that. Is he a football fan? He doesn't strike me as much of a man, honestly. But my God, kudos, blessings, fantastic job, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Thank you for doing that. Calling the murder an illegal, and then he goes on and on about 6 weeks and 8 weeks, and they don't come back for their trials. You're like, yes, that's why you put up a go wall. Oh, the fact that MTG just baited him and he swallowed it hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. Biden went for it. Brilliantly done. You know, I need to I'm going to jot that down. I want to interview MTG interview. I need to get her on. I haven't talked with her yet. But it was so telling on a night where you got domestic terrorists, pro-Hamas, blocking off roadways. Did that cause the delay for Biden? Because it was late. They were late last night. Was that the reason? I don't know. But they constructed that fencing. Remember when they staged their coup in 2020 to overthrow President Trump? And they got in, they're like, oh my God, can you believe we just got in here? Oh my God, put up a fence. Look what they almost did to us on January 6th. Yeah, that was a warning. Not a single shot fired from these guys. You shot an unarmed woman of another race, a veteran mother. That was the only shot fired. That was a warning. They're like, oh my God, did you see that warning? All right, first off, let's frame Trump and say that was an intentional insurrection. We'll just use that word. Say it as much as you can. Say it a million times, a quadrillion times. Build a fence around here. We got to keep MAGA away. We got to keep the people who hate us away. I think we just overthrew the United States. By the way, if you'd like to hear countervailing views on that last remark, go to cisa.gov/rumor control, because they want to say 2020 was the only safe and secure, completely pristine election in the history of all elections. They have their view. We have ours. I have to say that. They put up a fence all around the Capitol yesterday, in stark contrast to Eagle Pass. Remember? When Texas was putting up a wall, and then Biden had people down there cutting holes in it. The Justice Department, the Attorney General suing the state of Texas. Remember the trucker rally? Remember all this stuff that was going on? Still going on? They build a fence because they know what they've done. They know nobody wants them there. They know nobody really put them there. They just kind of took it. By the way, for countervailing views, go to cisa.gov/rumor control. They say it's a safe and secure election. It totally was. Despite the fact that so many Democrats have always said that elections were rigged every time they lost. You know, fair and balanced or something. Joe Biden rambling about 6 weeks and 8 weeks, and they'll never come back for these people. And then China. That was the moment of the State of the Union. That was when Joe Biden imploded. And he exposed everything that's wrong with him, with the Democrat Party, and the direction of the nation under this regime. Use that phrase. It's not administration, it's regime. They hate you. And look, if what happened in 2019, 2020, COVID-19, if what happened then is a harbinger of what could happen again, well, maybe we should be prepared for anything. And if that was intentional, I don't buy this lab leak theory. Never have. Wet market? Piss off with that. Get out of here. What did Jon Stewart say? A bat kissed a pangolin. What if that was intentional? And the point was to remove Donald Trump and shut down the world. There, 10 agendas at once. Collapse the economies, gain more control in the cities, run the people out, buy up the real estate like in RoboCop, like all that stuff. Or whether it was an accident and certain powers just seized upon that, and the MSNBCs and the CNNs of the world had like flashing, blinking red lights about COVID. Scare. Trump did this. Trump did that. Trump didn't fix this. Trump wasn't fast enough. Trump doesn't care. Trump. You got to replace Trump. You got to replace Trump. So whether it was intentional as a plan and they followed it through, or they took, what did Rahm Emanuel, the former, what was he? Obama's, not Secretary of State, not press secretary. What was he? Chief of Staff? Later mayor of Chicago? Is that what it was? I believe it was Rahm Emanuel that said, never miss the opportunity to take advantage. What the hell? Hold on. Never miss an opportunity to take advantage of a crisis. There we are. I love my quotes if you haven't figured this out. I messed quite a few of these quotes up, by the way. I definitely. They all jumble. It's like I don't know. It's like a circus up in here with all these competing quotes. So maybe it was just simply never miss the opportunity to take advantage of a crisis. Then you had the CIA, you had social media, you had lying legacy media, and the Democrat Party and the rhinos all in cahoots to remove Trump by any means necessary, every means necessary. Read the Time magazine article where they talk about fortifying, Fortifying, maybe? What a weird word to spell. Fortifying? Well, they fortified the election. They secured the election. They rigged it. They did what they could to censor people talking about things. Blatantly anti-First Amendment. All these people should have been charged with civil rights violations. No justice. All the people who were trying to do real science and figure out what was happening with that virus, they were silenced. And all the Trump told you to drink bleach. Trump said Nazis are fine people. None of that shit happened. None of it happened. But they went nonstop, 24/7 with their lies. And like Abraham Lincoln said, I pity the fool who has to remember all of his lies. Was that Mr. T? Anyway, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene, superhero in my book. Man, did she level up and just hit a grand slam yesterday. And I hate that poor woman and her family have to be at the center of this, but couldn't get her name right twice. What were you trying to say? But think of all the other people who were killed in America by legals. And I know all about it because my son died of cancer. What are you even talking about? I had such a hard time with that State of the Union. Thank God it's going to be the last one from him. There is zero chance, if I were a betting man, which I'm not. I mean, I like $5 or $20 on a Super Bowl from time to time. I've avoided putting an app on my phone and like becoming some gambling junkie degenerate, although I'm a big sports fan. I hate that it's come to this, but it's like, I've been telling you for over a decade about all this stuff. None of my policy positions have changed all that drastically. And it's just common sense. This shit is just common sense. And you just have to reach the obvious conclusion that if the people in charge of things are doing the wrong thing, they're doing things to hurt you, they're doing things to hurt this country, they're doing things to hurt the purchase power of the dollar, they're doing things to suck up this generation and send them home in body bags. If they're doing things to flood this country full of people who have illegally entered, who have broken in, you wouldn't tolerate it in a nightclub, You wouldn't tolerate it at Disneyland. You wouldn't tolerate it at the movie theater. I would not eat them in a hat. I would not eat them with a cat. Green eggs and ham? Yes, I am. Or whatever. It's ma'am. This has gone on for far too long. And the people in charge, it's simple. Either this is all accidental, they don't know what they're doing, they're all in over their heads, or this is part of a plan. The Soros, the globalists, the World Economic Forum, the New World Order. Pick your group. Your post-state group, your post-country group, your post-national sovereignty group, your post-civil rights groups. The man who broke the Bank of England, George Soros, and his spawn. There's an obsession from some people to strip you of the things that you love. Freedom, autonomy, safety, happiness. These people have hopefully had their last bit of reign of terror. We're, 8 months away? I think I was doing some math yesterday. Roughly 8 months away from the election. Hopefully the election, not a selection. And hopefully we get a chance to put things back on track. And I think former Vice President Biden did a great job of kind of torpedoing any chance he had yesterday. Thanks in small part to Marjorie Taylor Greene and the screams of that father whose son was erased in Afghanistan because of the direct actions of Joe Biden. Unforgivable. You can say anything you want about Trump being uncouth, but he's the only president of our lifetimes to not drag us into some stupid, pointless, unnecessary, expensive, both in treasure and blood, foreign conflict. You know, you're not supposed to go to war. Violence is supposed to be a last recourse. You know, if you're in school, you can't just go around punching people. But I'll tell you what, if you're getting wailed on, you've got every right to defend yourself. What are you just going to roll over and get your head cracked on the ground and expire? No. Was it like you should avoid an argument at all costs? You should avoid physical confrontation at all costs. But if a situation arises, what is the phrase? I've seen this several times. It's like you should avoid fighting when you can, but if you have to, you better fight like you're the third monkey trying to get up onto that ark. Fight like you're the third monkey trying to make it onto Noah's Ark. It's you and that other guy. Only two men enter, one man leaves. You fight with everything you got. You know, that's if attacked. And this nation is under attack. This nation is under an invasion. And any day now, the power could go out, and who knows how long it will be gone. Do you have any solar? Do you have any plan? Do you have a support system? Do you have a house to go to if something happened bad in your neighborhood? Because there are sleeper cells everywhere right now. Somebody called me the Paul Revere on a previous show a couple of nights ago. I mean, I was raised a Boy Scout, Cub Scout, whatever. And it was ABC, always be prepared. Wait, ABP, always be... Whoops. Always be prepared. So I deeply, sincerely want to thank you for joining us on this program. My name is Brian Engelman. This is the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media. I'm asking that you follow us in all the places, and I'm going to tell you where they are. Wherever you're watching from now, if you can do a heart, or if you can hit the 100, or if you can do the heart, but anything, do the like or the heart, do that thing. Like if I'm watching on YouTube, I got this whole thing with laughter, confetti. Just any interaction with the algorithm is helpful to show that you appreciate what's going on and that other people might like it too. You know, it's an AI thing. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. I want you to follow us in the non-traditional places, please. Signal is an app that we're on. It's like our backup to Telegram. TNAM Official and TNAM Chat. TNAM for The New American Media. On Telegram, we're TNAM in TNAM Chat. Link up with us. Facebook, we have a page, The New American Media. And TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Private group. Instagram, The New American Media. X, at American_media_. On Rumble, The New American Media. On Spotify, our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show. And goodbye, Kenneth. Goodbye, Dreamer. Thank you so much. I love having you guys in here. You are a part of the show. You are a part of the show. A great part of the show. It makes it so much more fun. I have two podcasts. One is called The Agree to Disagree Show. That's this one. And then the other is called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Subscribe to those, please. On Truth Social, The New American Media. And then if all goes weird, and this is soon to be one of my highest priority things that I have to accomplish, I'm going to rebuild thenewamericanmedia.com. If you go there, you'll see our footage from January 6th that we traveled out there to see what was going on. And we did a documentary. What was it called? Undisclosed, the unreleased J6 interviews. And we also caught mostly peaceful protest footage as well. That's the first thing you'll see on the front page. That's how you'll know you're there, thenewamericanmedia.com. But please, if you like the content, leave some comments, leave some hearts, subscribe, thumbs up, share it with your friends, share it in some groups and go, hey, I caught this cool show. It was all right. It was interesting. It was fun. It was timely. It was informative. I think you might like it. Please share it. So that's all I got for you today on this Friday, March 8th. I appreciate you. I love you. I love this human race, as flawed as we are. Things could be so much better if we all just, once again, this has been phrased and framed so many different ways, but like, you could empty a swimming pool out pretty fast. Not with one person in a bucket. But what if you had a conveyor belt of people with buckets? How quick if everybody scoop it, pass it, scoop it, pass it. And then once they dump it out, person on the end is passing up with their other hand the empty bucket. So it's kind of like a bowling alley. You bowl the ball, it goes down, it goes through the thing, and it rolls back up, and it's sitting there waiting for you. Just kind of a cycle, right? If we all link together and do a little bit of lifting, do a little bit of working, I know we can seize control of this country again for the good, to defend our basic civil liberties that the Democrats and rhinos and deep state operatives keep trying to strip from us. Enough. They have no sovereignty over our God-given rights. Period. If we all share the message of freedom and liberty and ask each other to become a little bit more prepared today, train, get in better shape, strength train, train with your firearms, learn some skills, get some books, like all of the things. It's basic prepping 101. Be ready for as much as you can and be as strong as you can, because when times get tough, don't you want the good people, the smart people, the civil libertarians, the ones that care about humanity, team humanity? Don't you want these people to succeed and thrive and survive? I do. That's why I do what I do. Why I've done this for 13 years on the New American Media. This is going to be a very big year for us at TNAM. A very big year. And so, thank you so much for finding us. And I think we're going to go live again. We usually do Tuesday, Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern for this show. But keep your eyes peeled. If it pops up in the algorithm, interact with it. Pull it up on your screen. Play it in the background. We got 13 years and, God, what is it? 1,400 videos on our YouTube channel. I didn't even tell you that. YouTube.com/The New American Media. Please click subscribe. Our backup is on Odyssey. ODYSEE.com. Everything that posts to YouTube is automatically synced over to Odyssey because I expect everything to be gone on YouTube one of these moments. We've been demonetized, shadow banned. I got an interview with Larry Elder that he's talking about the cohesion of the black family, and he wrote books on this stuff. I mean, he's lived it and experienced, and he's articulate and smart, funny, engaging, poignant. That my interview with Libertarian presidential candidate John McAfee, rest in peace, unless you paid somebody off and you're still out there somewhere. Who knows? Kaiser Soze. There's episodes that we have done that are just memory hold. You can't find them. They're just gone. Maybe if you type it precisely, you can scroll through 3 pages and then find it at the bottom. Like there's an active effort to shut us down. People who don't like truth. What's worse? Lying about someone and trying to frame them like everybody's done to Trump? The Democrats and the rhinos have done to Trump? Or like being a whistleblower or a journalist, like Gonzalo Lira, dead in Ukraine, American journalist. Edward Snowden had to flee to Russia. He told us our Fourth Amendment is being completely violated. Those are civil rights abuses. As important as anything that happened in Selma. You're discriminated against because of the color of your skin. You're being spied upon because we feel like it. Well, they're equally abusive and unconstitutional and illegal. So he has to flee? What about WikiLeaks? Why is Julian Assange in the situation he's in? What's worse? Someone that actually tells you the harsh truth? Or someone that frames innocent people and tries to get away with it? Or goes to kill foreign leaders or JFK? I mean, clearly, one of these is 1 million times worse than trying to figure out what the truth is. If you don't want to get busted in a lie, don't tell lies. It's that simple. You want to succeed? Be smart. Make good decisions. That's a tale as old as time. It's like if you don't want to be poor, don't have kids out of wedlock. Don't get addicted to drugs and just finish school. You leapfrog the bad decisions and bad outcomes of so many people that have made choices that put them in predicaments. I don't know. You don't want to be exposed? How about don't be doing shit that's going to get you exposed? How about just fight for this country and make this place great? How about fight for humanity? Anybody that's on the wrong side of that, you're not on our team. And our team is TNAM, the New American Media. Thank you. Tried to give you a salute and the peace sign came up. I usually say, I appreciate you, I love you, and we'll talk to you again soon. And that's just what I did. Have a great weekend, everybody. To be continued. Peace.